Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the D&T Wrestling Show. This is episode 6 for you today. I am Daniel, the host, the D in the D&T, joined by my co-host with the most, Tyler, the T and the D&T, Mr. TNT. Tyler, tell the people how you're feeling tonight on this lovely Saturday afternoon.
I am feeling absolutely great, amazing, whatever you want to call it. We didn't get that good of wrestling yesterday. We didn't get that good of a show yesterday.
Unfortunately.
But it's still a beautiful day in the neighborhood, as Mr. Rogers would say. So
it's getting warmer, right?
How
so
are
we're
you?
all happy about that.
Yeah.
We're doing good over
Yeah.
here. We're doing good. Like I just said, it's getting warmer outside. Sun's coming out. Tans are coming, and I'm excited about that. But like you said,
Let's do it.
that has nothing to do with wrestling, and you might be asking yourself, well, why is that? Because there's not a lot of good wrestling to talk about lately. Because after WrestleMania season, WWE has decided to go right back to your week-to-week mediocrity, at least this past week. I would describe it that way. I think Tyler probably would as well. But that doesn't mean we aren't here to talk about it. We still are here to talk about Friday Night Smackdown from yesterday night. We are going to go over everything that happened there, kind of give our thoughts on the things that they did. There were some things in there that are worth talking about. A lot of stories getting pushed forward. Well, I guess I shouldn't say a lot. That's kind of the thing. There's only a few stories getting pushed, but it's fine. We're here to cover it. And then, unfortunately, there's been a lot of cuts, actually, that have happened in WWE. Apparently, it's roster cutting season. I don't know. They're bragging about all these high-selling, ticket events and that they're upping all the prices and still selling out, and yet they apparently don't have money to pay all these people who, some of which will, basically what I'm getting at is we will be discussing those cuts, kind of maybe who we think were snubbed, who was deserved, as well as who we could actually see being maybe on the next round, people that we would say, no one that we're certainly hoping would get cut. We don't hope for anyone ever to get cut, but people that might want to really think about where they are right now in WWE and change things up before their names are called next.
Think about that and then see if they might be able to revitalize their career somewhere else.
You never know, right? Or exactly, go to TNA, go and we'll have a discussion on that. So with that all being said, ladies and gentlemen, we will get into Friday Night SmackDown, beginning here with the first segment of the show. You got Damian Priest walking into the stadium. Cameraman's following him. He's just walking tall, high-fiving stadium workers, saying what's up to people. Crowd's cheering him on. And then he immediately sees Jacob Fatu and Solo Sikoa just kind of chilling in the corner. And with no real pause or thought to it, he just runs at him and just pushes. He doesn't really attack, but he pushes Jacob Fatu. And then they kind of get into not a full-out brawl, but a little scuffle. And enough where all these dudes run in, start holding everyone back. Oh, what's going to happen? This is how they start the show. And then LA Knight comes in out of nowhere, walks past him. He's all he has this look on his face what are those bozos doing? That kind of thing. Goes to the ring, hits his music. Crowd is chanting his name. Yeah, doing the thing. And he basically goes out there to say, look, y'all know why I'm out here, basically. He's quick with it. He's like, hey, I was here last week to tell y'all that I'm ready for my rematch. I think I'm owed that for my U.S. title that I lost at WrestleMania. I'm one of the better U.S. champions y'all have seen in a minute. I deserve my rematch. Instead, what I got was a number one contenders match last week, and that got ruined. So I'm here really to ask him, where's my rematch? He just kind of he's reiterating the same thing. Cue Damian Priest music, who comes right out, and he's just look, that was my match to win. If we kept going, it wasn't like you were going to win, I was going to win. So I don't know what you're out here crying about. And honestly, they don't get too much into it. They kind of have these back and forths where they're they bring back kind of the trash talk from last week's promo where to Damian Priest to LA Knight is well, we wouldn't be here if you hadn't even lost at WrestleMania, that kind of thing. And LA Knight is I want to say he says something along the lines. He kind of said this to Drew, I remember, but he says something similar to Damian Priest, something along the lines of hey, I remember your championship run, or maybe I don't. Something like that, right? Because I believe Damian's last championship run was pretty short, obviously. So this this does lead into a match, right? So they have a match right there. They're like, well, we should just fight right here and now. What do y'all say? And then the crowd goes, yeah. They actually get it going. This is a pretty solid match. They did get some "this is awesome" chants in the middle. I don't have a lot of spots to call out because I want to say that pretty much everything you would see here is what you've already seen in an LA Knight or Damian Priest match. But the both of them fighting each other was fun. You know what I mean? Like, cool. Maybe we're setting
Yep.
up for two guys that'll be in an elimination chamber somewhere down the road, and it's nice to get them in a ring together right now. But nothing insane. What really matters here is that near the end of the match, we're getting close to some finishers being hit, winner being announced, and Solo Sikoa comes in. Who would have guessed it? And he interferes. So Damian technically wins the match off the DQ, but we don't really care, right? That doesn't really matter. He comes in and interferes. LA Knight and Damian Priest look like they're getting ready to beat up Solo, throw him through the table, the announcer's table, when Jacob Fatu comes out and messes them up, beats them up. Solo kind of helps him. Who would have guessed it? That kind of thing. And so that's kind of that. It ends again with Jacob standing tall with the belt. Pretty standard, opening to SmackDown. A decent first start with the promo, cutting into a match that was solid. Two decent dudes that the crowd likes. This is awesome chance, followed by a. I think the weakest part was the end, just because we've seen this already. This idea that Jacob comes in and
They're
just
just
kind of
relooping it.
shits on everybody. Yeah, they're just relooping it. It is fun to watch.
Yeah.
It is fun to watch. Like, Jacob Fatu knows how to look like he's destroying people, but nothing really changed here. I would actually say later is where something a little more impactful happened.
Yeah,
The
we
result of
ultimately
this.
got we ultimately got the result that we were talking about last week.
We did.
And,
So yeah, we can go
so
ahead.
yeah,
And
go ahead.
we can just say it now. Why not? Later, we'll
Yep.
go in more in depth in it later. But basically, they do announce that there will be a fatal four-way at Backlash for this U.S. Championship belt. No longer just a triple threat or even 1v1. It will be Jacob Fatu, LA Knight, Damian Priest, and Drew McIntyre. We did call this already. Was it last episode or even one before that? I think if we did our predictions for who would dethrone, maybe that is what we did. We said something about it.
I think whatever. I know it was in the previous episode that we had
Basically,
predicted
y'all,
it, so.
if you weren't on it yourself, but you were listening to the show, we certainly would have told you about what was coming, and we got it now. We saw the writing on the wall, and now we're here.
Yep.
So it's fun that the match is coming. It probably will be one of the better matches of that pay-per-view coming up in a week or so. But
Yep.
again, all that happened here on Friday Night SmackDown was average content. It was solid. Nothing crazy. What do you
Yep.
think? You got any extra thoughts on this one?
Uh, Nothing too much. Like you said, it was just kind of a normal, typical Damian Priest LA Knight match. I will say, LA Knight is like starting to get that like super hype again. Like his pops
It's
are getting
coming back.
louder.
I
He
agree with
is
you.
getting more reactions. Because they're giving him more time on the mic.
He's
That's the
spitting.
first like single promo that he got in like a long time, a very
agree.
long time. Yeah, he just hasn't had like a single promo. He's had a bunch of backstage promos talking to people, but not coming out with a microphone and just talking or talking one on one with somebody. Like when he was like again at the peak, like a year and a bit ago, when he was feuding with Roman. He was getting those mic times, and that's why he was getting so many pops. People love him because
That's
of his
true.
work on the mic, and the WWE just needs to give it to him, man. Especially now that like Cody, like their main stars are not there. The U.S. title picture right now is the main event of SmackDown.
Pretty much.
It is.
Yeah,
It is.
because John Cena's not.
Yes,
You're
you
right.
can think about Tiffy,
Randy
So
or
it's just
Tiffy.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, but you need to push these guys. You need to get them in front of the camera more. And I could definitely see LA Knight possibly getting a title this year, and I mean a big title, a main event title, World Heavyweight Championship.
I can see that.
That's probably more in the realism than the WWE Championship, but still. So yeah, I mean, I think LA Knight needs to just be pushed more. People love him. People love hearing him on the mic. He can cut it with the best of them. Give him some more opportunities. Damian Priest, on the other hand, I don't know what it is with his voice. His
You've talked about this
gangster
before with
accent,
me.
if he wants to say something like that. I guess it's just the New York accent. I can't get down with it. I just can't. He just sounds.
He does sound a little robotic, like scripted.
Yeah, it's
It
just very weird. I
Doesn't
don't
sound
know.
like
It
what he would say. I guess it does sound like he's kind of
Yeah.
forcing it. He just to
It's like
me,
because this new ever since he changed to this like new character, like this like badass or whatever it was. It's like he's like just trying to be a thug. That's kind of what I. That's
yeah,
kind of how I see it. That's what he's trying
he's
to
an
be. And
outlaw.
yeah, I don't get it. I don't see it. But
Um,
anyway, yeah. Other than that, there was nothing too much about it. Like I said, just push LA Knight, and then Damian Priest cut the accent. That's all I gotta say.
nah, that's a good point. No, yeah, I like it. I'll just add this on the LA Knight thing you brought up. I would say that with him, the good thing about this feud is like, okay, now it's up to 4 people, 5 really if you include Solo. It's a lot of heels, and Damian being like this
Yep.
kind of former heel who's trying to be the face. But I think this all works out. You're already kind of hitting the nail on the head there. This is all working out, I think, pretty poorly for Damian. I think it could still be good for him if the match ends up being fire and everyone just likes it. But at the end of the day,
Yeah.
you're right. I think what's happening here is everyone's attention's getting drawn to
Oh, I
this
think the
feud.
match will be amazing because like every
Hopefully,
single one of
hopefully.
those guys, besides maybe LA Knight,
Yeah,
can
yeah.
put on bangers and matches. LA Knight's
Yeah.
not bad. Don't get
No,
me
he's not.
wrong.
He's
He's
not.
just not like yeah. He's not on the caliber of the other three.
I'm more thinking just
Again,
because
like we
it's
talked
Fatal
about Damian
Four.
Priest.
Once it
Yeah,
gets to Fatal Four,
yeah,
you never know where things could go. It could be. It could mean that it is more amazing, right? More spots, more finishers,
you're right.
more fun things. But all I was gonna say was like you're setting LA Knight up in a really good spot where all eyes are on this feud, this promo, and he is like the main face to just take all the
Oh yeah.
crowd's admiration while everyone else is pretty much getting booed, like Drew. Jacob is kind of in that role where like everybody loves to cheer, but it's not the same thing the way they cheer for LA Knight right now. So
It's a little bit different. Yeah.
it's a little different. So yeah, cool. I think we can go on to the next thing. Then you can take over the next match of the night.
So the next thing that happens is that Fraxium is in the back, talking, I think, with Byron Saxton.
For a second, yeah.
Just talking about their debut and saying, we're here in the best tag division in the world here at Friday Night SmackDown, which is, I think, rightfully so, based off of the match that the main event was last week, like we were talked about. But so yeah, basically we're just saying, we're here in the best tag division, and we want to prove ourselves. And Pretty Deadly comes in, and is like, Byron, get out of here, like just saying, yes, you are in the greatest tag division. We've seen what you've done in NXT, but you need to prove it. You need to like, we don't know how good you are. You need to beat us. Basically, is kind of what they're saying, and they ended up getting a match out of it. So the match was it had its spots. There was two and from Pretty Deadly. I think Elton Prince. I think that's the blonde one, right? Yeah, Elton Prince is the blonde
Yes, I believe so.
one. So there was two botches because I can't remember if it was Nathan Frazier. I think it was Nathan
It was
Frazier.
Nathan Frazier.
Nathan
If I
Frazier hit.
yeah,
Yeah, he
that
did
was
like
bad.
a spin or like a whatever move off the top rope and ended up busting Elton Prince's lip open. And basically, I'm assuming knocked him out for like a couple seconds
Well,
because
I
he
think
didn't move.
I think he destroyed his teeth. Like I think he knocked his
Yeah,
teeth.
he cut
Yeah,
like all this up. Like
but he landed
he
completely
was
on the dude's face with his 450 splash or whatever, the backflip
yeah,
thing.
and
Yeah,
you can tell like because that after that spot they put him into the corner. We're about to do
it
a
was
spot off
bad.
that. Had what's his name tag in, but he had to like yeah.
The
It was kind of all
execution.
downhill from there,
Yeah.
unfortunately. So because they just tried to end the match super quick. They
Well,
basically after that happened, they took Kit Wilson, did their double finisher where Axiom does the splash or whatever, and then Nathan Frazier does the I don't even know what it's called. It's a front flip into like a corkscrew, that type of thing.
I know. Yeah, I forget
Go
what it's
ahead.
called too. I forget what it's called as well. No, you're good.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, again, at the beginning it had some cool flashes, some cool spots, but nothing too exciting, I should say. Like I said, once those botches kind of happened, that kind of determined the match. I mean, you could hear it from the crowd. They were like the ref was pinning 1, 2, and she basically got the 3, and there was no movement from Elton Prince, and then the crowd was like boo, like they literally started booing the entire match, and that's not something that you want. That's definitely not something that you want in this industry. So again, I can't really blame Fraxium or anybody. It's just stuff happened during the match. Real things happened, and you just gotta brush it off. Just brush it off and come next week and do something better. That's all.
Yeah,
What do you think?
yeah. I agree with you. Everything you're saying. It's just basically it was an average match up until the botch. It was pretty bad. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. Like he flips on him. He's supposed to just take a normal. You land on him. Looks like it hurts, but he landed forearm into mouth. So I'm pretty sure he knocked his teeth out, and like you said, knocked him out, and he was gushing blood. The problem is he didn't immediately tell the ref behind him because he was. I think you're right. He got messed up so bad he was like in pain. He wasn't even like really paying
Yeah,
attention to what was happening. He just you
you're
can
just
see
in
him.
shock.
He
Yeah.
just sits up and he's doing this. I don't think the ref realizes what's happening. I think she thinks he's selling. So she takes way too long to realize it, and I think that's why this match gets
Mhm.
thrown off. So she doesn't realize why they're doing what they're starting to do, which is like you said, get him into the corner, get him out of the ring, and
Yeah.
it's obviously all just messed up. So what they end up doing to try to fix it, it also starts getting messed up, and you can just tell they're off rhythm. They all start missing moves. They start selling poorly, and then it finally you can tell they're like, okay, you need to get him in a spot where he's on the ground, and y'all just do your flips and end the match. That you could tell it all happened
Yep.
very quickly.
That's
And
yep. You're exactly
and
right.
Kit, the guy who got hurt, you can see when he gets tagged out, he literally just kind of falls out of the ring, like literally ragdolls. And then the one
Yep.
camera shot where they show the doctor is immediately talking to him on the corner, and
Oh
it's
yeah.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, he's injured.
Oh hell,
So
even then, even like the last spot with his finisher. So yeah, Elton was the blonde one got hurt. I think it's Elton.
Elton,
Elton was
sure,
the one who got hurt, and then Kit is the black haired one.
yeah,
But in during the finisher, like when they were going to pin, Kit got hit the same way. Like Nathan Frazier hit him the same way,
did he
and
really?
there's nothing that you can do
It's hard.
about that move because you're already spinning at a fast pace. You are, and it's hard to spin and then rotate at the same time and protect yourself on the landing. Um,
Even just to tell
it's
exactly
a
where you're
hard
gonna
move.
land, like where each body part's gonna
Exactly.
land, and that's what it was. It was
Exactly.
his arms are running into their head, which is not supposed to
Yeah.
happen.
So like if you rewatch that last spot, like where those two finishers, like you can see like Kit like puts his hands up
He
like this,
tries,
and
yeah.
if he didn't do that, like he's gonna get the same thing that happened to him. So either Nathan Frazier needs to figure that out, and because
I
he's
think
just
he's
not gonna get,
gonna
he's just
already. I think
go
they're gonna
ahead.
have him switch that. They're gonna have him do less because
Yeah, exactly,
I think they want to
exactly.
push him. I think they want to push him. That's obvious. They're already having him
Just when you're doing
2 weeks
things
in a
as
row.
fast as he is, and I actually heard this from Triple H during the like his Hall of Fame ceremony. It was either his Hall of Fame ceremony or something in that and along those lines. Triple H was talking to somebody, and he was telling a wrestler like how to basically just get better at the industry,
Right.
and he's saying just slow down, just slow down. And then when you think you've slowed down, slow down even more.
Even more.
So he's
Yeah.
just like, so it's like the faster is not always better.
That makes
Yes, it's
sense.
a little bit more
It
exciting, and
does.
then it's for the fans too, right? Like if you're running around the ring and doing all of this fast stuff, I'm not gonna catch it. I look away from my screen at 1 second, and then I miss like two or three things because
It
it's just
can
like
it can
you're
break from
trying to do
immersion
things way
too.
too
Like
fast,
it
but
can
it
break
also
from
hurts with
immersion.
storytelling.
Yeah,
It
all
it
of it.
hurts with storytelling too. It's because like just take Roman's Roman's the slowest match that I've ever watched in my entire life,
Yeah.
but there is so much going on in those matches. There's just so much. I
Yeah.
get that they're new and they want to be exciting and they want to be a difference maker and they want to just be known as this explosive uh, electric tag team. Just slow it down. It's fine. It doesn't need to be a million miles an hour. I understand that's probably your way of wrestling. It's just you're
Yeah.
gonna get people hurt like that because everybody's not used to that. Nobody is used to that, unless like you're the only people that I would say that might be would be like the Lucha Brothers, like just having that style of wrestling to them. So
I mean,
that's just my opinion. Thing like it's again, I'm not a wrestler. Never wrestled in my entire life. Just going off of
yeah.
what I can
No,
see.
no.
Um,
It
but yeah,
no,
go
you're
ahead.
right. You're totally right. There's a reason, you know, Gunter wrestles the way he wrestles, Cody Rhodes. None of these guys are doing like super. Oh my
The
god.
main eventers are in the main event for a
Yeah,
reason.
CM Punk, like all these guys, like they wrestle very specific. John Cena even, he even was known for having speed and momentum, but even he wasn't actually like, you know what I mean? Like Randy Orton, all these guys, they have a
Yeah,
certain way. funnily enough, but like the what they're known for is kind of what we're saying here, which is AEW. Like this is kind of their thing, where they're like, well, we are being very athletic and acrobatic and all these things that you don't usually see, and it's like, well, you don't you don't usually see it. It's not because yeah, maybe the guys at the top of the card can't do those things, but nobody really cares. You know what I mean? Like it's not it's impressive and it can be fun to see, but it does lose its
Mhm.
allure. Whereas the storytelling is timeless. That's the true meat on the bone. You know what I mean when it comes to wrestling and what can draw you in. The combination,
Yeah.
obviously, of storytelling and the fighting. But no, you're totally right. The slower the better. It's fine if you're selling speed, and that is what they're doing, but you got to take it easy sometimes or change it up a little bit. And I do think that again, that's what I think that's what's coming. That he's going to change up that finisher. Probably is just going to turn into like a moonsault. And there's a reason I think a lot of these guys, these high flyers, end up gravitating to the moonsault. I don't know why more people don't just. Why are the people that do the swanton? All of them are they're not high flyers. They're big guys that do high flying, right? I guess Montez is maybe the only one that might do it, but even he does like 450 splashes and stuff. Montez and
Yeah.
backflips. I don't know why if you're a high flyer, just do a swanton and make it look nice. I think it's the simplest and coolest
I
thing you can
agree.
do, and it doesn't.
I
You
agree.
just start
Just
flipping
these
onto
it's
them.
just these people that are just trying to do something different. That's all it is.
Yeah,
They're just
yeah,
trying to do something different because
like
it,
really
it's it's
impressive.
it's the super kick. It's the super kick effect, right? Like
Yeah,
everybody has the super kick in their portfolio, and
that is fair.
people think it's boring sometimes when you just give a super kick. I don't know. It's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
I agree
Well,
with you. Don't overcomplicate things. It's just yeah. Again, it was hard for me to even watch the match because it's just like
it
so much
was
stuff is going on. So much stuff is going on, and it's just like
too much
okay,
chaos.
this thing happened, and then this is happening, and then this is happening, and then this is happening. I'm like, holy shit, dude, I can't even catch a breath right now.
Yeah.
Like some people, it's exciting. Some people, it's just like
Well,
I don't know. It's just
I
like
hope.
yeah,
I actually hope, given all that, I hope they give these two tag teams a chance to run it back and maybe give us a better. I do think they're capable of it, and I'm thinking they
yeah.
turned this little angle of Elton getting his teeth messed up. I think they turned that into an actual angle, and I think they will get another match out of this. So
Yeah, yeah, they could, which would be good. Which would be good for them, for sure.
there's a little prediction for y'all right there. Watch the undashing Elton Prince art coming soon, wearing the mask.
That would be insane, dude.
Watch,
That would be
they're
so
pretty
good.
deadly. They're
That would
pretty
be so
deadly, but
good.
he's
Yes,
not
yes.
pretty, right? So it's But anyways, we'll go on to the next thing. I think we
That
talked
would be
enough about,
so good.
but
You're
that
a
would be
freaking
good. That would be
genius, my
good.
friend.
That would be
You're such a genius.
that would be fun. It would be perfect actually, and it's like it would be so But again, we'll earmark that one
Yes.
like we do. So going on to the next little, I'll cover the next couple things because some of them are shorter, whatever, and then I'll cover the actual next big thing. But basically, what happens is we get a little promo. We cut to the back, and it's B-Fab and Michin talking to Nick Aldis, and they're basically like, "Hey, when Liv and Raquel come back from the vacation you put them on, we want our shot at the titles." And Michin's like doing this. She's kind of weird, Michin, the way she acts. I don't know, but she just was doing all these weird things. B-Fab was a lot more confident to me and just easier to listen to, but whatever. That's a small note. Doesn't matter. The more important thing is that
BFAB is actually pretty good on the mic,
that's what
dude.
I'm saying.
BFAB is actually
B-Fab is
really good on
actually
the
pretty
mic.
good on the mic. So
Yeah.
I'm glad she was the one doing most of the talking, and I felt like Michin was the one that was like, it's kind of weird. But anyways, I, there's a reason B-Fab is getting a little bit of a push right now. Like I think they really want to see if she's got the stuff to wrestle because she does have the chops on the mic. She's got confidence. But anyways, the more important thing here is that Chelsea Green comes in all black, like she's at a funeral with her secret Hervis, because it's she lost her U.S. Championship belt. She is President Chelsea Green, but she's no longer the champ. So they kind of shoo away B-Fab and Meacham. And Chelsea's like, "Hey, I want my rematch, Nick Aldis. Like, this is a travesty." Oh, I'm leaving out the best thing here. So she basically does this whole, this is a whole politics angle that she's doing. But so she's Canadian, right? And I do think she is pretty bothered by the way politics has been going. I'm not. This isn't the show to get into the thing, but it is topical in this sense because what she says here in the promo is she's like, she's making fun of Donald Trump, okay? And she's basically like, "This was a rigged match. This was a rigged match, and I demand a recount." on my belt being lost, right? And it's kind of like, dude, come on. Like she says this was a fake match result. It's like, dude,
Yeah.
like it's very on the nose. Like, okay, Chelsea Green.
She is
It
amazing.
was good. It was good
Amazing.
stuff. And I literally just put in my notes, Chelsea Green is Donald Trump now. That's what I put in my notes.
That's
So
why she's on my Rushmore, dude. That's why she's on my
right. No,
Rushmore.
she's an amazing. So that's I was wondering what are they going to do with President Chelsea Green and the Secret Harvest when she loses the belt. They're literally doing the best thing they could
I,
possibly do. So they're
I
like,
think
yeah,
she always has a character, dude. She
something.
always has a character.
Yeah.
No matter what happens to her, she'll always have a character.
Well, what happens?
She just
Yeah.
makes it up. Like I'm sorry, I don't mean to
No,
interrupt,
no, no,
but
no, no.
like during that promo, she's just like Nick Aldis would just say something and she would just come back so
She
quick.
always
She would
has
just come
something.
back so quick. Always
I'm
has
not
something
sure
that
if
makes
it's
sense
scripted.
that's relevant. No, I don't think it was. I
Yeah.
think because you can even see Nick Aldis like
He's
laugh and
laughing,
chuckle a
yeah.
little bit during it.
She is such
it
a
was,
goofball.
she
She's
is
funny.
just perfect. She's perfect. She's absolutely perfect. Go
No,
ahead.
she's
I'm
hilarious.
So sorry for interrupting.
I do no no I'll add on. I do again like I do think she loves playing this specific part too because again I do think she seems like a I'll say it like a jaded Canadian at the moment. That's how I think she feels. So I do think she was kind of getting a rise herself out of just being like, screw you, dude. But whatever. This is not the politics show. That's not really the point. But what ends up happening is Nick Aldis actually says, "Well, Chelsea, you're going to have to wait your turn because Piper Niven is actually going to be fighting Zelina Vega, who did take the U.S. Championship belt. She's going to be fighting her tonight. So you're actually, if she wins that match, so this is what confused me. Let me just ask you this right now. This match wasn't for the belt, right? I don't believe it was. I think they just did the graphic, but it kind of confused me.
No, it
when the
wasn't.
match
It wasn't
happened.
for the belt.
Okay, well,
No,
anyways,
it was for. See,
it was
because
number
Nick
one
Aldis
contender.
said he said, yeah, it was a number one. If Piper won, then she would be next in line. Basically.
Nick seems to be doing this thing with this women's mid card where his philosophy is like the person that's supposed to be taking the belt will first fight the person with the belt for not the belt, as in just a regular
Very
match.
weird.
Then
Very
once
weird.
they win the one time, they get their shot to compete, of which they then go on to win. That's exactly what Zelina did, and I'm pretty sure that's what they tried to do with Mi Chin at first. They had Mi Chin beat Chelsea in a regular match while she had the belt, and then they had her compete, and she did not win. Chelsea won.
It's
So
very weird.
it's interesting.
Very weird, but
It's very like WWE, my GM, like, oh, I do it this way. Like every single time, it's like, okay, that's whatever. You don't see it a lot, so it's interesting that they're doing it so much all of a sudden with this one belt. But whatever, that's that little promo. Really quickly, they do this like cut up, like going back to the 2006, 7, 8, 9, 10 film of Randy Orton versus John Cena, and giving us this long promo with music in the background, the belts that they won at one of the backlashes, and this might have been 2013 actually, the backlash.
it said 2013. Yeah, I seen that.
So, but there were, it was like this cut up, right, of all these matches and all these highlights, and it was cool, just kind of getting us hyped for later in the show when Randy Orton is supposedly going to come out and talk. So the next segment that we have here actually is Nia Jax coming out to the ring to cut a promo. She's coming out here to just talk her shit and basically be like, "Hey everybody, I'm back. Did you miss me?" Crowd's booing her. They hate her already. They've always hated her. And she's like, "I'm here for one thing, to get Tiffany's belt. I made her, all that." But she really doesn't talk long. Tiffy comes out and is like, "Tiffy time." Crowd's cheering. They love her. Tiffany comes out and she's basically like, I I don't need you anymore. I'm better than I used to be back when I was with you. I don't regret cashing in on you. I don't regret betraying you. I'm a better champion than you. I'm a better wrestler. All these things, like, pretty to the point. Nia's just like, okay, like, like you've never beat me. That, like, you've never actually beaten me, or something like that, right? Like, not for real, for
Yeah.
real. And Tiffany's
Yeah.
like, okay, let's do it right here, right now, that kind of thing. And she's kind of like, you know, let's do it right here, right now. And Nia's like, okay. But then Naomi comes out, and Naomi, like,
Yep.
is talking smack to them as well. She kind of does her whole piece about, like, oh, y'all thought I was done with just because of Jade, just because that's in the past. Like, no, I'm different now. I'm crazy. And so she's kind of like walking up to the ring, but then Jade does end up coming out, and Jade just like kind of chases her around, basically, like she's kind of always been doing. I guess I should say Naomi's also kind of saying, like, I want that belt, right? You see what they're kind of building here. Jade kind of comes out and she's like, hey, going right for Naomi. She doesn't even say anything. She just goes right for Naomi, and then that's when Nick Aldis comes out, and it sets up him saying, "Okay, like all of you want to fight. This is a great opportunity. Let's have Tiffany Stratton and Jade Cargill versus Naomi and Nia Jax." Um, so, nice little in the ring thing. Nothing absolutely insane. Like nothing here was like over the top. Like, oh my god, interesting moment, viral moment. Nothing like that. Just a solid thing. Get these four women in the ring together to talk some smack. Set up the story for everybody, and then kind of lead into this. This ends up being the main event, just by the way. So this ends up being the main event of the night. Pretty decent, by the way. But we'll get to that later. But yeah, that's the promo. You got anything on like this part specific? Because we can cover a little more later, I think, when the match comes up. But if you got anything on this promo right here.
No, it was pretty basic. Like I said, all it was just to set up the main event, which was the tag team match. But yeah, nothing happened because Nia didn't say much because Tiffy came out.
Yeah.
Tiffy said, "Nia, I beat you," but Nia said, "No, you really didn't." Then Naomi came out and was like, "I want the title," basically. And then Jake came out and chased her, and then Nick Aldis stopped it all.
Yep.
That's all it was.
That's it.
So.
Pound for pound. So
yeah, we'll move on to the
next
next thing.
Yes, sir.
Moving on to the next thing, which I believe is the Miz and Mello promo.
That into the yeah.
Okay. What just happened to my notes? Give me 2 seconds. Right here, Miz and Mello. This is a. Oh yeah, okay. So that's what happens. So Miz and Mello are in the back, and they are kind of just talking. Mello's like, Miz, like, we can't let that guy, Aleister Black, do you like that? Like, you had, it's just, basically, you just can't let him do you like that. We have to go out there and kind of fix everything. And Mello's wearing this Andre the Giant chain. He said something about, like, me and Dre are going to handle it.
Yeah,
and Miz was like, Miz is like, who's this Dre? And he points to the chain. I was like, no way, dude. The freaking big ass head of Andre the Giant is just right there. But yeah, that's whatever. And then Miz is just like, hit my music, walks out. And we get the two entrances. And so, yeah, we get the Miz versus Malachi Black. The match I thought was actually pretty good. Malachi Black has a...
Well, in WWE,
has a weird...
Is he Malachi or Alistar in WWE? Which one is he in WWE?
I'm so sorry. He is Aleister Black.
Okay,
he is
okay.
Aleister
I wasn't 100% sure, just to be clear.
No. He's Aleister Black.
So, okay.
So, yeah. He is Aleister Black, so I messed that up. But, yeah, Aleister Black has a weird wrestling style, in my opinion.
It is weird. It's different.
Because he has this striker, I guess, wrestling style, but his body, like, he's very skinny. Like, he's very, very skinny. He looks like he should...
He's like a
very tall and lanky.
Body.
Yes. So it's just, I don't know. It was a little weird, just to kind of see... I don't know. It's just, I've never seen that. Usually those type of, like, fighter, striker styles are just a little bit bulkier, and I guess it's just weird to see it, but he's that, and he's athletic, because you obviously saw the spot where he did the bounce off the ropes, the backflip and land and sit down. Cool. So it was sweet. Yeah. So I'm excited to get more stuff from him. The match ended up like the Miz does a phenomenal job at just putting talent over. He's that old vet now. That's his job. That's his role. He's this dastardly heel that just is like, and it's good because The Miz has that pedigree. He's a WWE champion. He's a what's it called? A Grand Slam champion. Actually, a 2-time Grand Slam champion. And he can say that in his promos, and then whoever beats him, it's like, oh, this dude just beat a former WWE champion, a former 2-time Grand Slam champion. Like, he beat that guy. So it's like, okay, it boosts them up to the next level, right? So The Miz did that for Aleister Black. I don't know why I'm just gonna keep saying it. Aleister Black. Aleister Black ended up beating him. I will say, dude, that little back kick he does is devastating.
It's pretty cool.
He like makes it sound devastating. It looks pretty wild. But yeah, so he hits Miz with that at the end of the match, and Mello comes in and tries to save Miz, and we have a Mello and Alistair stare down. Alistair kind of was like, he stepped to Mello, and Mello was like, I'm just gonna kind of walk away. Like it kind of made Mello seem like
Yeah.
a little bee, but who it's whatever. So
I think that makes sense though. Like
but yeah,
ultimately.
so I'm excited. I'm excited for the match between those two. I really do. I think it's going to be any Carmelo Hayes match is great. Any Carmelo Hayes match is great. So, um, the only thing we just have to see from Alistair is his promo ability. We just don't know. We don't know. Is he going to be because you have to be able to cut a promo, and if you want to be in the main event, like if you want to be on that level, you're going to have to be able to cut a promo. You can't
Yeah.
do this like Undertaker type of thing
Just
and just
no
not
talk.
speak.
It's
Yeah.
just lame.
Um yeah, so you're gonna have to be able to cut a promo or you're gonna be stuck in the mid card forever. So we'll see. I don't know. Again, I didn't watch AEW. I didn't watch when Alistair was in the WWE 5 or 6 years ago, whatever it was. So we'll just see. Any notes from you on this match?
Um, just a couple things. When in the I didn't say this just because I thought it was funny. Like when Miz was talking his shit about Alistair in the back before he goes out, he says something along the lines of like he's trying to do this joke where he's saying like why like I shouldn't feel bad about a guy that was only here for 5 years and I've been here for like 15, something like along those lines. But he really messes up the delivery, and you can tell that even he doesn't really want to say
Oh
that
yeah,
joke.
I seen
Well,
that. You're so
and
right.
it's just horrible timing too, because it's like they just fired all those people literally yesterday. So it's like, oh, okay, I guess we're joking about people getting not re-signed, basically like people that are getting cut,
Yeah.
because that's exactly what happened. He got cut a couple years ago, and then he was with AEW. So like funny, I guess. You know what I mean? So that was kind of awkward,
Yeah.
and it literally like the Miz, you could feel him having a hard time delivering it in the moment. That was funny. Other than that, in the match, yeah, I agree. It was just Malachi's got that. I guess I would say it's like the same awkwardness as like Shinsuke has. Like that's what they're doing it on purpose.
Yes.
That they're trying to like be like a. Well, I'm not really a wrestler, am I? I'm more of like a kung fu guy. Like
Yeah, yeah.
I kind of do like weird, wacky moves to hit you and knock you out. But Malachi actually does have kickboxing ability, probably better than anybody. Like Damian Priest has decent kickboxing ability. It's all right. It's not amazing. He's a little too big and out of shape to really be doing crazy shit. And honestly, same thing with Shinsuke. But Malachi's out here doing actual roundhouse kicks. So it's like, okay, that's actually pretty cool. He's just jumping kicks. He has flying knees. Actually looks good. So yeah, I do want to see more Malachi, but you're right. He needs to work on the awkwardness. He's a little
Yeah,
too
he's like a UFC fighter in he looks like how
in
Ronda
wrestling.
Rousey wrestled, just obviously better, just more athletic and
He's
just better
executing better.
technically.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. So, but you're exactly right. He is a UFC fighter in
in
the
wrestling.
wrestling ring.
He
Yeah.
just needs to figure, like you said, figure out the finer details of the character, the speaking, like anything to draw people in more than just your style of fighting, because it just
Yeah,
doesn't cut it doesn't cut it
I'm glad
anymore
that
in
you kind of
WWE.
agree with me. I'm
Yeah.
glad that
Oh,
like, you
absolutely.
agree with me on like because it's like it's just it's awkward. It's an awkward wrestling style. It can work. I can see it working because some of the things that you do
You got to
are
bring
are
something else
great,
with
but
it.
it's just yeah, something's
That's
just I
why
don't know.
I
It's
would
just
argue that's
awkward.
exactly why Shinsuke is struggling right now. Because when there's nothing really behind him to like get the crowd to care, which used to be for Shinsuke, the novelty
Yeah.
of him, the theme song, that's what made people care. But then once you really strip a lot of that away, the fighting style leaves a lot to be desired. I would say in the ring, it's just it's kind of awkward to watch. And if you aren't doing it at peak athleticism, performance, and like how it looks, if style wise, it really looks lame in my opinion. So Malachi needs to make sure it always looks cool. He's always doing things at the top peak of his game. But again, that might not even matter if he can't get people to care about his character, his talking. Right now, there's a reason that the Miz is the person that he's against, because the Miz can literally just do all the talking, like do all the shit
Yeah, the
talking
Miz can
from his
elevate
end,
too.
and then be so annoying that all you have to do is do a mean look and then beat him up because everybody thinks the Miz is annoying. That's the point. Like, I don't know. So yeah, it would be cool if we hear or see Alistair doing more in the performance center, doing some more mic work. I think it would be a good sign when we see like an Alistair big name like interview somewhere on one of those wrestling kind of interview shows that they have now. Not have
Yeah, and
now,
just
but the ones that are
get
big,
like more of a
just to show us
yeah, I
the
get you.
fans that he's capable of doing that kind of thing now, and that's the way that they're trying to show him to us. To me, that's usually the sign that the WWE is trying to show us, like, hey, you should pay attention to this guy because they're on this talk show, like doing it, and
Yeah, yeah,
maybe
for sure.
not just this one, but they're doing it like a round of them. But yeah, that's all I really have on that at this point. Like you said, Mello and Alistair probably would be next week, which should be fun. Should be fun.
Yeah, that'll be fun, and we'll definitely see. Well, I think we'll see more because he's fighting a different style of wrestler. You know, Mello is more of a high flyer, so we're probably going to get a couple of those like Mello jumps off the top rope and Alistair
Yeah,
back kicks him while he's jumping off the top rope. So more of those type of spots, which are pretty cool in my opinion. But so the next thing is Santos and Ray Phoenix are in the back. They have a promo just in the back, kind of talking, and Santos was like, I can't believe you disappointed Rey Mysterio. Basically, just he's saying like, yeah, you lost at Mania to El Grande Americano. Um, in my opinion, Santos killed this promo. In my
yeah,
like,
this was good work from
I really
Santos.
I liked it. Like it's I liked it, and then later on, his match backed it up. Like it's something switched.
There's a couple things to talk about with them, but we'll
Yeah,
get to it. But now you're right.
yeah, yeah,
Everything he did in
yeah.
the show was good.
I liked it. Yeah, this was one of the better shows I've seen from him. He didn't seem like just uninteresting. This I like this. I like
Yeah,
this. He's kind of going after, his own like luchadors. Like he's going after those guys and he tried to bring Ray Phoenix in
like yeah, like Ray
and
Phoenix. He didn't do a lot in this promo, right? But like what you were just saying, I would say Santos, like he really made me care. And I know
yeah, 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 for
I know
sure.
you mess with Santos heavy. We haven't had a lot of opportunity, I'd say, in since we've started the show to talk about Santos Escobar a lot. But
Yeah.
yeah, I agree. Like he's always been someone I agree with you. I would love to see more of him, and maybe that's what we're finally getting here, where they're like, this is the Santos part of this kind of larger luchador story we're telling. This is the Santos part where he finally comes back in as like the main villain. And maybe as we, well, you know what? I won't get too deep into this because we do have the part, like I mentioned, that will come later. I'll say what I want to
Yeah,
say
yeah, the actual
then.
match part and
Do you have
stuff,
anything
but
else about this little locker room thing?
no, just like I said, Santos definitely stepped up his game in my opinion, and you know, I'm ready to kind of see more. So yeah, hopefully he kind of sticks with this and
Yeah.
um I guess basically, again, just to kind of reiterate, Santos tells Ray Phoenix, "Hey, you lost El Grande Americano. I can't believe that Rey Mysterio picked you." He says, "I'm the future of Luchador, and I'm going Santos Escobar. I'm the future of Luchador, and then I'm going to basically take his spot as the top Luchador on the roster, and that kind of thing, right?" So I do like this character from Santos. Like this is something that he actually strives for. This is
I
something that
agree with
he's
that.
actually
It's a little different
so
than what he was like a couple months ago. That's true. That's
yes,
true.
yes. So maybe he's not title worthy, but he's like, this is what I'm fighting for. I am fighting to be the best luchador on the roster. And when people think about luchador wrestlers, it's me. It's Santos Escobar. So I like that. I like this little character that he's got going on. So hopefully they keep building off of it and just keep working with it because he does out of all of the luchadors or all of the Latino wrestlers that are on the roster, he has the best promo ability. I think, in my personal opinion,
He's
he
definitely
can
one of the
speak.
best. That's absolutely
He can
true.
speak the best. He can speak the best English. He can turn it from Spanish
He's
to I guess
probably
Damian
yeah.
Priest. Damian Priest is technically that as well, but
Yeah, but
he's not really a luchador.
he's not really yeah, I
So,
was going to say he's not really involved the way
but
those other
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, but so yeah, I think he's got all the potential in the world. This is actually a character that kind of grasps my attention, and hopefully I think it grasps a couple other people's attention as well. So we'll see. But yeah, you can go on
Uh
to the next thing. Go ahead.
I will go to the next thing. I will just add that the culmination of that promo is that Ray challenges Santos to a match. So he's like, "Hey, we should
Yes,
settle
yes,
this in
sorry.
the ring." which leads in. It's probably obvious based on what I was saying, but yeah, that's what leads into the later parts. They have a match later, so we'll go on to the thing that happened next. Though it is the Zelina versus Piper Niven match that Nick Aldis had discussed earlier. So this is the idea here is. Zelina is currently the champ, yes, but this is really more for Piper. If she wins, she then gets to face Zelina for the championship. I really don't have a lot of notes on this. I will just say it was decent. Piper and Zelina have had a few matches in the past, in the last 2 or 3 years or so, and they usually do decent. And I'm thinking that's what they were hoping would happen here. Like, okay, now this will be our chance. Like Chelsea, obviously, what I'm assuming she's trying to do. This whole conglomerate of women, what they're trying to do is push Piper and be like, hey, this is Piper's chance to like maybe win a belt and show people that she's a good, you know, powerhouse kind of big wrestler as a woman. Not a lot of those, obviously. So it would be nice if she could kind of continue on this path that she's on. I think they're trying to get us to care about this. The match itself was just not that. To be honest, it is what it is. It's just two women that neither of them are usually like the prime time thing you're looking for in a match. You're hoping that maybe they're against someone you do care about, and now that's the two of them are in this match. So nothing against them personally like that. I think it could be better. They just maybe need to put a little more into it. But the result is that Zelina actually does win. This was a result of
Yep.
Chelsea trying to get involved, but it ends up screwing Piper over. And so now maybe this will lead to the breakup of the Secret Service, or maybe like Piper leaves, and that's where we get the Piper face turn, and then maybe it's like just Chelsea and Alba Fire. I don't know, right? I'll be super honest. I don't care super hard about any of these people other than I guess Chelsea, but it does seem like we're winding down from the Chelsea U.S. champ days and probably into something else at some point soon. But I don't think Zelina Vega is going to last very long as this U.S. champ. I'm going to be honest with y'all.
I don't
That's
think so
my
either.
that's kind of my thinking here, my direction that I'm feeling. I just think she's a little too small, a little too small.
Yep.
Selena should be in a tag
Yeah.
team.
Yeah. Something
Selena
like
should be
that.
in a tag
Yeah.
team with like a
There's.
big person. That would be cool.
Yeah.
Someone should be
Yeah.
power
There's
bombing
no.
her.
Yeah. Yeah. There's no. There's no really. Like you said, no notes to really take from this match. Zelina wins, and that's pretty much everything.
Yeah, we
I'm
don't
not
have to
gonna
beat
say
it
it
to
ends the
death.
feud. Yeah, I'm not gonna say it ends the feud between those two. And we're sure. How WWE's been with the mid card, the women's mid card. They just keep reiterating the same things over and over and over again. So I'm sure we'll get more of this in the near future. But yeah, we can just go on to the next thing if you want to take care of that.
Yep. So next we got another little promo. It is Solo and Jacob Fatu go back to Nick Aldis to kind of just address everything that happened earlier in the ring with Damian Priest. We kind of already spoiled this, right? But this is where it actually
Yeah.
happens, where they're back
Yep.
there to be like, we need to get. I guess I don't remember exactly but Solo's doing all the talking, right, for Jacob. That's kind of what Solo's doing. He's trying to keep being Jacob's manager, and you can pretty clearly tell that it's more like Jacob's just kind of letting Solo be around because it's his cousin. But it's like, and he got him there, but it's kind of like, um,
Well, what happened? What happened with Nick Aldis? Nick Aldis was like, since all of you guys can't play nice, there's a
right.
triple threat match at Backlash for the title. And for all three of the guys that were there,
That
Damian Priest,
being,
LA Knight, and Jacob
yes,
Fatu.
okay,
And then Solo was like, well, technically he's sticking his nose in again, trying to do a right thing, but ending up kind of screwing over Jacob.
right.
He says, "Oh, but Drew McIntyre technically won the match last week, so he's the number one contender. So it should only be one guy."
Yeah,
And then
yeah, yeah.
Nick Aldis is like, "Oh yeah, you're right. So screw the triple threat. It's a fatal
It's a fatal
four-way, and we're
four-way.
adding Drew McIntyre into the match."
That's good stuff.
And then
That's good
this is
stuff.
when Solo's like, he's like, "Are you serious?" And Jacob looks at it, he's like, "I'm all gas." He does the same thing. "I'm all gas, no breaks with it." Like he just says the same thing, his like little catchphrase, and then that's the end of the little promo.
Well, the end is Solo's like, so Jacob kind of walks out. Solo's still standing there with Nick, and Solo's like, man, you're trying to screw over Jacob. And then Nick, he kind of leans in. He's like, no, Solo, I think that's you. And he kind of walks out, and the crowd's like,
Oh, I missed that. I
ooh.
didn't see that.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
must have missed
So,
that. Yeah.
so, so it's just Solo and Nick, real quick. Jacob storms out, and Solo's like, yeah, yeah. He's like, man, Nick, you're trying to screw over Jacob. And Nick's like, no, it's you. And yeah, the crowd actually pops to that. They're like, ooh, and the Solo's like,
Oh,
whatever, man. Like, yeah, but it was a cool. Like, they're kind of foreshadowing, like, nah,
no,
we
that's good.
see you,
Yeah, that's good.
Solo. We see you. Like, you're not slick. But no, it's interesting. Interesting direction. Um, but yeah, I don't have a lot to say. Obviously, we kind of said a little
No,
more.
it's
It's
just
more
a
just
promo. Yeah,
should be a
and now
good
it's a.
match. Yeah,
Yep.
should be a good match. Banger. It probably has the potential to be the best match of that pay per view, like we were kind of saying earlier.
And we'll
Um,
get to our predictions next week for those for
yeah,
all the
we'll
backlash
dive more into
matches.
that. I think we'll want to see exactly what happens on
Yep.
Raw as well, before we jump too hard into the predictions. I guess we
Yep.
gotta think about when we want to do predictions. I guess it would be next Tuesday. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
it would have to be
y'all
then.
look out
So,
for that. Take that. You
yep,
can
the
time.
Randy Orton promo. Randy
Yeah.
comes out and that's a just solo promo to John Cena. And I mean, the gist of it is just kind of Randy kind of reiterating what he was saying last time, and it's like, John Cena said this, so this is the reason that I said that. Like those type, like that's kind of what he was going in. John Cena was like, oh, he said he didn't have kids because he said he was raising your guys's and that kind of stuff, right? Right. So, um, like he was kind of just talking about his merch sales. Like John Cena was selling his soul, basically. He was the puppet master behind it all since he was back in 2005 or whenever he really came out, 2002 or something like that. Like he was the guy that was always he didn't care about anybody. He didn't care about hurting people. He didn't care about friends. He didn't care about the business. He cared about doing whatever he was hinting at it, doing whatever Vince wanted. Um,
Yeah.
and he was Vince's toy, basically, is kind of what he was getting at. John Cena only cares about, you know, the next time that he gets a different color T-shirt with hustle, loyalty, and respect on it, and blah 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 blah. And he was saying stuff like, um, where's the loyalty and respect? He's like, I get your hustle, but where's the loyalty and respect? You don't respect me or my
Yeah.
family or this business. And that's how it goes. And he says, I can't wait to punt. That was funny. I can't wait to punt that Lego block head of yours off your shoulders, which was hilarious. But yeah, that's kind of the gist of the promo. Randy's freaking promo work. People think Randy's promo work, like they say, it's like not good. Randy's promo work is freaking good, dude. Randy, if it's
Yeah.
WWE
I like this
2K,
promo.
it's his. He's
He's
a
a
five
five.
star promo worker. Like
Five out of
he
five.
is good. He really is
Um.
good. Maybe
Yeah.
back in his older days he wasn't that good, but like now he cooks. He is the epitome of what you want a wrestler to be. You want him to like. He didn't go off and do a movie career. He didn't do any of that kind of stuff. Randy is he is it, man. He is it. So, and even kind of going to your point a couple weeks ago, like Randy can prove he's the GOAT by beating John Cena's. And why wouldn't they give it to Randy, right? Randy is
Why not?
he didn't go to Hollywood. He didn't do any of this. He was born a wrestler. He's a
Born
nepo
into
baby.
it.
He's
Yes,
born
sir.
into it. Like that's just have him run with it, man. And especially if he ends his career as a face, have him run with it. But go ahead. Again, it wasn't that much of a promo, just kind
Yeah,
of
nothing
doing that.
crazy.
So,
I'll just say,
what do you
like,
think?
you kind of actually touched on it. I was just gonna say, like, so I like this promo. I liked it. I liked what he was getting at, what he was saying. But I was just gonna say I don't feel like the crowd really connected with him too hard. There were a decent amount of
Yeah,
points where
he said something, right? I don't remember what he said, but he like said it to get a reaction,
pretty
and
clearly get a reaction and
nobody
nobody
reacted.
cheered. And it was like, really, guys, like, it's just another case. I don't. Again, this is more what I'm getting at. Not Randy doing anything. It's more like the crowds are literally getting so dumb that it's like, if you're not literally like, like, if you're not literally like, I'm doing the saying again. I'm doing it again, guys. You say the same thing over and over. It's like, if they're not doing that, people are literally like, "Oh, I was supposed to cheer for that." Oh, it's like, yeah, okay, Randy's not freaking CM Punk in there, dude, but he literally said, okay, so you kind of touched on it, the one little part where he tried to do that. He basically goes, John was out here saying that he's been raising your kids for the past 20 years. I think that, he's been raising his prices on his merch for the past 20 years, and the parents who are really raising their kids now got to work a double to pay for it. that was
Yeah.
kind of supposed to be like a big, and you're thinking about it like, yeah, that's actually really fucking true. Nobody cheered for that. Like nobody was like, yeah, or ooh, like nobody. And it was kind of like, I think Randy kind of could feel it. He was like, anyways, and he kind of goes to the next thing.
Yeah,
You could
that's
tell
ridiculous.
there comes a certain point where Randy just kind of starts doing the yelling thing. He just kind of raises his voice, starts getting angry. Um, I don't think Randy does bad promos. I don't think that's like the case at all. But I do think the crowd has a harder time connecting when he's not a heel. When he's not a heel talking direct shit, like being a bad guy, the crowd doesn't really vibe the way that when Randy's just kind of like, I'm Randy Orton, and you guys are awesome, and you guys are awesome, and you guys are awesome,
Yeah, I can see that. I
and
can definitely see what you're
I'm
saying.
here to beat up the bad guys. And literally in the promos, he's like, in this crazy world where I'm a good guy, John, and you're a
Yeah, he
bad
did say
guy.
that.
Even he's like, yeah, this is like this doesn't really make sense, but whatever. Like we're here, whatever. Fuck it, we've never done this before, which is why we're doing it, right? But that's what I think the true crux of the issue is. Randy is not as good as being a good guy as a bad guy, but I don't think like he's still spitting. You know what I mean? The crowd just doesn't. I don't know. They just don't seem to care as much, which sucks because these American crowds they just suck in general. Let's be real. A lot of the times they do not know. They don't
Yeah,
seem to
it's been
understand when
rough.
to cheer. Yeah, yeah.
It's
Like
been
come on,
rough.
unless
I
it's
will say they
WrestleMania.
they ended up booing John Cena when Randy Orton
That's
said something
true.
about John Cena.
That's true. They
Not
found their
every
mark,
time, but
but
they
not
did
every
end up. Yeah,
time. He had to say something
it's
like
just
pretty, like just very obvious. Please boo. It
yeah,
was kind
it's
of like a
like
please clap moment type of thing. Like, come on, guys.
yeah,
Like, what am I gonna
yeah,
do here exactly? I'm saying the
seriously.
things like, but no. Don't let that fool you. If you do care about John Cena, what the goings on with him right now, like if you're a more casual fan and you're kind of like, hey, I heard John Cena's back. Oh yeah, I would go back and watch this promo. I would go back and watch this just to see what the story is that's unfolding. I'm really more giving the crowd a hard time than anything else. So, yeah,
Yeah,
we can go on to the next thing.
Yeah, move on to the next thing. I didn't see this, so if you want to go
Okay,
ahead and touch on
so
it
this
real
is
quick.
basically after they do a little commercial break, after Randy's kind of like walking back into the backstage, that they're kind of recording him, and R-Truth like aggressively kind of approaches him, doesn't like touch him or anything, but he kind of walks up to him, and Randy's like, hey, how you doing, R-Truth? And he's like, Randy, basically like, you need to cut out what you're saying, Randy. You're gonna lose to John Cena at Backlash. And Randy's like, I don't. Come on, man. Like, come on. He doesn't really know what to say, and he's like, come on, Randy. Like, I can't believe what I'm hearing from you. Like, John is the last real champ. Like, he's buying into everything John Cena's saying. And then Jimmy Uso comes out like once again. Jimmy's like, hey, Randy, I'm sorry, man. Like, let me handle him. Like, and Randy's like, he actually looks like a little. It's obviously he's selling it. It's acting, but he does look uh, upset that like R-Truth is like mad at him and chose John Cena over Randy,
Yeah,
I guess. So Randy does look a little upset because yeah, they've all been in the business for like decades now. But then they kind of leave it on this weird note where Jimmy's like, you need to stop talking all that nonsense, R-Truth. And R-Truth is like, nah, John Cena, he's going to be the last real champion. And he just kind of like looks off into the distance. So they're clearly setting up it can only be one of two things. Either R-Truth like continues to hover around John Cena and he gets, I think this is what most of us are expecting, which is like John Cena does this big thing where he like destroys R-Truth, right? And this will be a big heel moment, probably the
oh yeah,
most heel moment of this whole heel thing John Cena's doing. It'll be so like in your face, like rubbing your shoe in the dirt kind of thing. Like, oh my god, I can't believe he's messing up. And R-Truth is like all on John Cena's side right now. Or what I think is more fun is the idea that R-Truth genuinely will just join John Cena, like become a heel.
like John Cena acknowledges him as
He
his only
says,
true fan.
and the reason I like this is because John Cena, it would be consistent with what this character is, with like no appreciation, no a bad relationship. But if there is someone who is always on John's side, always believed in
Yep,
him, treated him like a hero, that was the entire point of the joke character. It is
yep.
R-Truth, and so it would make sense if John is like, you know what, you have been loyal to me, but I need you to like actually be on my side. So then he has him like beat someone up. So then the big grueling moment is not seeing
That would
our
be awesome.
the big grueling moment isn't seeing R-Truth get beat up. It's R-Truth beating up Randy Orton at Backlash, and we're all like,
Oh,
wow, R-Truth is really beating up Randy. This is fucking nuts. Like what?
That would be
And
crazy.
and
That would be
and
crazy.
John is sitting there laughing and smiling. He's like, I told you guys I was gonna ruin wrestling, and it's R-Truth like beating up face Randy Orton. I think that'd be cool.
Yeah.
And then going forward, that also gives a way to represent John Cena, like have a representation for him that's
Yeah,
not
yeah, yeah.
actually at the show,
Like
because
it's especially if he's not here every single
they
week. Yeah,
clearly
right.
can't do it with The Rock or fucking Travis Scott. If anything, I guess now that I'm saying it out loud, it's in a I promise not racist way, but it's kind of like he's taking that Travis Scott spot because the fans obviously hate Travis Scott. Travis Scott can't be there every week himself. He
Yeah,
can't cut
no.
promos. R-Truth can cut promos. People like R-Truth. He can wrestle. All that stuff. So it actually makes way more sense that R-Truth is the one to be
Yeah.
like John Cena's right hand man. So, yep, that's
I
my
can see
little
it.
note
I
on
can
that.
see
I think
that.
that'd be cool.
I can
But
definitely see
unless
that.
you got anything on this little thing, okay.
No, no. Like I said,
Uh,
I didn't get to actually see it, so cool. We'll just
we'll
move on
go
to
to
the
the
next.
next thing. Do you want me to take this is a match? Do you want me to take this match, or do you want to do it?
No, go ahead. You're good.
Okay, so
Take
this
it.
is another follow up on a promo we did earlier. So Ray Phoenix versus Santos Escobar. This was a fun match. This was a fun little match. I didn't exactly have notes because again, this wasn't a match. I won't say it's bad in the way Piper and Zelina ended up being, where I really felt bored. This was like exciting. It's just kind of what you'd expect. High flying from Ray, good solid technical wrestling from Santos. There was so okay. This was the notable thing. Ray does end up winning off of some really cool maneuvers. His whole little combo he has leading up into his like flip finisher or whatever. Or I'm sorry, no, he doesn't do a flip finisher. He does like that power bomb. He does like that kind of jackknife power bomb type of
Yeah.
thing. He does a lot. What I'm getting at is he does like this kind of longer, drawn out combo of moves into it. Hit right now. I will already say Ray Phoenix on the starting roster has one of the cooler combos of moves that he busts out every
Oh,
match.
sick,
He,
dude.
he's
Sick.
he's so unlike maybe what we were saying earlier, the way that Nathan Frazier maybe needs to slow down because he's just like executing too fast. Ray Phoenix is like doing things at a high speed but doing it well. So that's what you want to see your speedy
Yeah.
small dudes do. He ends up winning this match. But the whole kind of thing is the idea that like Santos didn't win, not just because he got beat, but like he didn't have his boys out there with him, Los Garzas or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, I guess what happened with them? And he's all pissed after the match and everything. But yeah, it was just a fun little match. Just I think to give Ray Phoenix a win. Yeah, he lost to Ray, but now I think WWE really wants us to care about Ray and Penta. Like it's pretty. I think you're right at this point. Like I've been saying a lot on the show, especially like yeah, Ray and Penta, they're coming, tag team, tag team, tag team. I'm not necessarily moving away from that yet. I think it's still too early to say that that's not going to happen. But the direction right now seems to be singles for both Ray Phoenix
Yeah.
and Penta. Possible
Yep.
like in their respective brands. They are. I mean, Penta is in the IC belt conversation. Ray Phoenix seems like he'd be the one. After all that's happening right now with the US belt, Ray is one of the first people up to maybe go after the next feud. So
If they really wanted to supplement their tag division, just put the Lucha Brothers in there, dude.
just
And that
yeah,
tag
that's
division
always in
is
the back
oh
pocket.
my god.
That would be
Yeah.
unstoppable. They would be Bianca Jade tier of like I want to see them every week. I want them to win. I
Oh
want
yeah.
them to, or maybe
Oh yeah.
that's a little pushing it, but I would say right now Montez and Dawkins level that I would put them there. I would want to see them versus Street Profits. That would be sick.
Oh,
That
dude.
would be awesome.
Such a good match, man. Such a
That
good
would be
match.
cool. And you can make
But yeah.
whoever you want the heel. I guess it would be Street Profits, but it doesn't even matter. Doesn't even matter. Crowd just wants to see it.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah, that's our little thing right there.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fine.
So all right, so what we actually got next is Jade and Tiff. Jesus, hiccups. Okay. So what we actually got next is another promo. So they just cut from one promo to the next. You got Jade is talking to Tiffany backstage. So they're like preparing. They know they got their match or whatever coming up. But they're just kind of like talking smack to each other backstage. And they're not really, being all friendly and like we need to win this match. Jade's basically like, I'm gonna take that belt from you. I'm gonna take that belt from you. That kind of thing. And Tiffany's like, no, whatever. And that's kind of the only important thing that happens here. It's just like showing us that instead of preparing for the match, Tiffany and Jade, these tag team partners, like they're literally about to have the main event match like coming up here in a second. And instead of like getting together and like teaming up, actually being teammates, they're like, I'm gonna beat you. No, I'm gonna beat you. So it's like I kind of like it. I actually like it a lot. it's very obvious that right now the big kahunas, the big top 1 versus 2, A and B, X and Y, like the red and blue. Right now in SmackDown in WWE, that is Jade Cargill and Tiffany Stratton. I think that's the obvious thing here. You have Nia as the like third person out, and Naomi is the fourth person. That's why we're here. But the real thing here is Jade and Tiffany for us to care about. It's interesting because I don't think they really want us to boo Jade yet, but that does seem to be the way we go. So look for a potential Jade kind of heel turn at some point here over the next, let's say month. It could be at like Backlash or something like that, actually. So
Could be, yeah.
quick little promo there. Do you have anything to say on that one, or is that because obviously there's like a match that you can you can cover here?
No, yeah, just go to the next.
So I'll just go to the next promo. That would be the final culmination of this sort of Santos story being told here tonight, where Santos goes back to talk to Los Garzas, like I mentioned earlier, to be like, where are you guys at? Like, why aren't you out there helping me? I should have won that match. I easily had him beat if you guys were there to help me. Like, what the heck? And they're not even really dressed up like him anymore. Like, they're not all in their suits or like whatever. They're in like your regular schmegular tag team street clothes. And if anything, Umberto, my man Umberto, he is getting ready to make a singles push. Did you see the way that man was looking? He had his hair all styled. He was wearing like designer like jacket with like nice jeans. He had a look, is my point. He has never had that. He's always been like the guy in the background. That is just clearly what's coming. I've seen the chatter online, but yes, that has to be what they're doing here. Umberto is going to be. That's who it is, right? Or am I completely? Yeah. That's
Umberto's the taller one, yeah.
The taller
Angel
one, yeah. Angel is,
yeah.
Yeah. So that's coming. I actually think that's exciting. Umberto's got the look. He's younger. I think he's actually one of the younger dudes on the roster right now, as far as the main roster, not NXT. And they've been grinding since. I think they've been on the main roster since me and you started watching 2 or 3 years ago at this point.
So they were on the main roster even before we started watching. Got moved back down to NXT. Got moved back down to NXT, and then they were in that tag division, and then they got moved back up to the main roster. Because I mean, they are good. Don't get me wrong. Like they do good.
It's just they've had to find their niche, like they're kind of
exactly
character wise. But the important thing here is Andrade actually comes up. And they're almost like hinting maybe here that Andrade takes over as like their faction leader, just completely usurps Santos because he basically is coming up. He's all in his suit. He's looking all dapper and everything. And he's like, oh, Santos looks like you lost. Like, don't blame it on them. It's your fault. And Santos is just like mad because he's like, what am I supposed to say? Like, you're right. And so he's like quickly, basically like, screw you, Andrade. Let's go, boys. And Angel is like... Okay, he follows. This is what I mean. Umberto kind of looks at Andrade, and I don't know if you, because you said you didn't see it, but like I don't remember what Andrade says exactly, but it's something along the lines of basically like told you so, or think about what I said. I think it might have been like think about it, because Umberto's the one having this internal struggle of like, do I really want to be here anymore? So that turn has to be coming over the next. I would say same thing over the next month. Expect an Umberto face turn. I think they just really want us to care about him, so they're trying to do it in a way that will make us care. Don't know how that'll be, but it's coming. So that leads us into our main event, my friend. You can take it from here.
So the main event, as it got announced earlier in the night, is a tag team match between Jade and Tiffany Stratton versus Naomi and Nia Jax. The match was, I guess, okay. It's not like the best match I've ever seen in my life. I guess the main thing kind of went down is that towards the end of the match, Tiffy tags in Jade to basically take care of Nia. Jade gets Nia to a point where she is on the top rope or about to squash her. Or I guess to say Nia is about to squash Jade. Jade gets up real quick, picks up Nia Jax from the turnbuckle and power slams her down and ends up pinning Nia Jax to win the match. So Jade and Tiffany win. And then here's where the spiciness happens. The ring announcer, or whoever it is, hands Jade, out of all people, the title, Tiffany's title. And Jade's like, give me that. She's looking at it. She's like kind of basking in it. She
Yeah.
puts it even around her shoulder, which is extremely
That was
disrespectful.
wild. Yeah.
It's definitely like I've never seen someone
She
put
just
it on their
wore it.
shoulder.
Yeah.
Yeah, she just literally wore it and was like, "Yep, this is something that I could take." And then Tiffany comes in and is like, "What are you doing? Like, give me my title back, basically." But Tiffany also kind of was just like, can I please have my title? Like, can it's mine? Like please. Um, so then Jade like kind of takes off her shoulder, hands it to Tiffy. But then Tiffy tries to go grab it, and Jade like plays tug of war with it and pulls it back. And they're just sitting there holding the title back and forth. And next thing you know, we do get Naomi coming in, hitting Jade in the back, pushing Jade into Tiffany Stratton, knocking Tiffany out of the ring. Jade's on the floor. Naomi grabs the title, holds it over top of Jade, so we get the last part of it as Naomi standing tall on top of Jade Cargill, who's not even a champion,
Right.
holding the title. So it's like we do get the match next week with Jade and Nia Jax. So we get Jade and Nia Jax for number one contendership. I'm assuming Naomi is going to be put in that match as well. I'm assuming it's going to be a
Oh,
triple threat.
absolutely. I wonder. I'm honestly thinking that this is also going to be built into the Fatal Four, right? Nia and
It
Naomi.
could be, yes, it could be. So what I thought was going to happen last episode, it's looking. I thought was going to happen. Then I thought it was going to be kind of split off, but now it does look like it's going to be a Fatal Four. In either Backlash or maybe they
Maybe
do a
Beyond.
one-on-one. They screw with somebody over at Backlash, and then it just kind of leads into these other pay-per-views. So who knows? We'll see. I think Tiffany at least holds on to the title until past Money in the Bank, because I
Is
think
Money in the
someone
Bank
is.
before or after SummerSlam?
I think Money in the Bank is the next one after Backlash.
Okay, so you're saying she holds it through two more. I was actually literally about to say I think she loses it at SummerSlam. So
So yeah, she could do that. She could lose it to SummerSlam or something. Yeah, I don't know. Again, if it's a fatal four way, we'll see. We'll just kind of see how everything works. I like Naomi as a champion. I think she deserves it based off of what she's been doing. She does say that she's a different person. She's not this nice uh, girl that's just gonna just do whatever. She's actually here now. She's gonna do whatever it takes to win. She's just
yeah,
not going to. She's not going to care what people think. She'll step on toes if she has to win. That's what she said in her promo earlier tonight. So yeah, we'll see. What are your thoughts on the match and obviously the stuff that happened at the end?
yeah, it was a fun match.
Bless you.
I would say by this point in the show, I was getting a little tired. I didn't get a chance to catch like, every single thing, but that was because it wasn't like this is
The
so
match, yeah,
over
the
the
match wasn't
top
like
amazing, but it was still cool. There were the things you want to see. Like Jade is really strong and Tiffany's really athletic, so you'd hope to see spots where they do a lot of things like crazy like that. They did, right? And then Naomi and Nia are supposed to be pretty big heels. They were doing some decently big heel spots, like attacking when the refs aren't looking, those kind of things. I can't remember. There was one thing one of them did that was kind of like dastardly, whatever. But point being, like as far as like the direction everything's going, I think that's like the biggest note I have. I would say, well, two things. I think one thing's obvious that they're purposefully doing this thing where they make Tiffany look really weak, right? And I'm wondering if that's an
yes.
angle they're going to play out here soon. Whether that looks like some type of Tiffany back to heel, like a true back to heel turn. Somebody teams up with her,
I
and
think
then
it's
she.
more of just trying to make her seem like the underdog, kind of how
Well, that's what I mean. So
like
is there?
Zelina is and stuff because she
Yeah,
is smaller, right? She's not as big or
yeah.
tall as or strong as the other ones that are in this feud, at least right now. That's my only. That's I guess that's kind of what I think is happening with it. But again, I didn't mean to interrupt you. But
It's
yeah, go ahead.
more. I'm taking note in my head that they just seem to keep doing this exact thing. Like it's two feuds in a row now where she's getting like little Boyd. I don't know what better phrase to use, but it's like
Yeah, I
Charlotte
agree.
already did that all of last feud, and now they're literally going right back to it. Like all these people disrespecting her. I get the idea of making her. I'm not saying they shouldn't. I'm more like because they're doing it more than once, I think that there's a point they're going to try to make, and there will be a point down the line where this is addressed. That's all I'm getting at. There will be
Yeah,
that
that
big
makes sense.
promo or some big turn. Something is coming, and they're building towards that. Like they're giving her this kind of larger backstory to pull from for something down the line. I don't know what that is yet, but just keep all that in check, like what we're mentioning about the way Tiffany's getting disrespected as a champ. That's what I'm getting at. This
Yeah.
idea that nobody's respecting her as champ. Just keep that in mind. My other thing I
Okay.
would say would be Naomi. I think it is clear to me now that the direction with Naomi, doing a little bit of predicting here, but it's two predictions really, because I just did one. But I think the whole idea here is Naomi. Like you said it, Naomi should be a champ. My thinking is it's not women's world champion; it is U.S. champion. However, you need to find a natural way to get us to believe in her as like this strong champ. So what they're doing is having her be a part of this feud first, continue on with the Jade stuff, continue screwing Jade over, which we care about. But the ultimate thing that will be drawn from this is that Naomi will be, I think once this feud is over and Naomi is no longer a part of it, however which way that looks, she will then be the next U.S. champ. Whoever, I don't care if it's still Zelina or if it's someone new, Piper, I don't care. I do think they need to get someone a little stronger on that belt, and I think Naomi is kind of the perfect. She's not quite ready for that. She's basically like LA Knight. Like she's maybe not ready for that main belt, so you let her do her work on that U.S. belt for however long. I would much, much, much rather see this Naomi character than any of the mid card women on SmackDown, and it would make way more sense than having her constantly try to fight in this pretty crowded, I would say, upper card of SmackDown women stuff, because Bianca still needs to
Yeah.
come back. Charlotte's still here, by the way. She's not gone. Charlotte's still there, so she's gonna have to do something soon. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of talent at the top. I just don't see Naomi actually being champ, but I'd like it, right? So there needs to be something.
Yeah, I can see your point. My point is a little bit opposite of kind of what you're saying. I think someone like Charlotte or someone like
Oh,
Bailey,
okay. Take that.
Charlotte or Bailey could
Well,
go
Bailey,
into
I
that
could
mid
see.
card,
Bailey, I see that
go
for
in that
sure.
mid card and do that. Maybe not Charlotte because we just seen that she can't
I
really
would
help.
say the only reason she
Talent.
would just to be able to say that she did it. That's the only
Yeah,
reason
yeah,
she
yeah,
would do that, and nothing
yeah,
else. I swear to
yeah.
God, she wouldn't even. Maybe that would work because then she wouldn't have to hold it that long, and whoever takes it from her, that would be a big win. But
Well, I was listening to Santi, and Santi was like, they could have a triple threat match between Becky, Bailey, and Charlotte Flair. Let's say Bailey and
that
Becky
would be
are both
fucking
the mid card champions, right?
yeah.
And then Charlotte Flair gets involved, and the winner gets both titles. And
Ooh,
then this is the winner for the first ever women's what was Miz? What did I just say? Grand Slam champion.
Grand Slam.
This is the first ever women because ever since they've added these two
Oh,
belts,
you would be the first one to have both. That
yes,
would okay.
or
Yes, you're
not just
right.
both, but not just both.
Yeah,
Yeah, you would be the first person
all
with
exactly.
every single
No,
title
I,
in the
I see that, but
WWE.
I'm saying
Yeah, yeah,
because technically that would be the first time someone held both because they both just got
hmm
made. I see exactly what you're saying. You'd be the first
yeah.
one, and it's like the first men's Grand Slam champion would have been
And
decades ago, right? So
yeah. And then that would solidify those titles.
whoever they
It
want to
would make
pick,
them. Exactly. It would just be like whoever wants to take one of the titles, one of each, or if they want to do something like how they did with the tag titles and split them up, just make it a Money in the Bank tag match or something. Well, not a Money in the Bank, a TLC, and have one person grab one and the other person grab another, and split
that'd
it
be
up
cool.
that way. Like it just makes those titles prestigious. You know what I mean? So
Uh,
if they're having trouble or struggles with those titles, put a big name in there and make it worth something. That's all I
yeah,
gotta say. But
I would even say this. I'll go ahead and
I
predict my winner for that match if it even does happen. Is I would say already right now that it would be Bailey, and I think that's exactly how you reward her for
could see that.
all this stuff these last couple years, where she has essentially won nothing for all the work she's put in.
Yep. She's like, yeah,
That would be the
carried.
ultimate reward. Hey, yeah, we finally are hearing. Trust me, Bailey. Like, yeah, we took you out of WrestleMania. Yeah, we haven't given you a real big belt for a long time in a while. You're always the one losing. You're always the one putting people over. You're literally helping every young woman on the roster every time they come up. Like, yep.
Yep.
No, we hear you. Here you
Yep.
go. Here's the very first Grand Slam champ
Take
ever.
it.
That's way better than
Take it.
even
Yeah.
Chelsea's being the first United States. You know what I mean? But anyways, yeah.
Hmm.
Look, that's the show. That's SmackDown from yesterday. Um,
Yep.
what I think we continue on with what we've been doing. What star rating would you give the show overall out of 5?
This one's lower. This one's like a
So you
two.
gave
I'm
Raw a
definitely
3. Okay, so you're gonna give this one a 2. Okay,
This one's a two. Yeah, this one's a two. Maybe even a 1.5. Honestly, it just wasn't.
it was bad.
I'll keep it at a two because like Randy's promo was good. I liked the the solidifying of the Fatal 4-Way match, and then the last little bit with Naomi standing tall. Like, yeah, so I'll keep it a two. But other than that, it was a pretty rough show
I
to watch to keep me interested. I think they were, and I told you before we started recording. I just think they were more focused on the who were they going to cut based off of budgetary reasons, and instead of focusing on the actual quality of the show.
yeah.
So that was my kind of out or input on that. What would you give it?
So I gave Raw this past week a 2 as well, and I'm gonna also give this a 2. There were enough that things that made me care to be like I'm glad I watched this week, I guess, but not a single thing was like memorable. It's just stories got advanced. I do like seeing guys like Ray Phoenix. Like I actually, so the reason I'm not gonna go as far and as low as 1.5 is I did genuinely like this like 3-part segment of like Ray Santos, Andrade, Los Garza, all of them involved in this
I
story.
like it
That
too. Yeah.
it was like a short story that got told throughout the night. I actually liked it, so that probably saved it for me because otherwise it would have felt too lackluster. Like too much is lacking other than just Randy promo, Naomi standing tall. That would literally be it. Otherwise, it's like okay,
Yeah.
cool, I guess. Like what the fuck. So
You're right.
yeah. So I think with that being said, we go on to our next segment here. What we got for y'all? What we're gonna do is just go real quick over the list of people that actually got released. Have a little discussion on that, and just kind of maybe. I think we should probably just say like maybe who we think maybe didn't deserve it. I guess like maybe who we would say we wouldn't have wanted to got
Yeah,
cut.
we can go over like
Um,
who. It's like why did they even think about doing
yeah,
that? But yeah,
and
we
then
can do
we'll
that.
give you guys, each of us came up with a little list of people that we just kind of based off what we feel right now, what we've seen, who we think, like we said at the beginning, who is probably on the next potential list. And again, this is
Who's on the
not us.
chopping block?
Yeah, this is not us saying we want them gone or they deserve it.
Yeah.
It's kind of the opposite. Like I would, if any of them were to see this, I would hope that they go, okay, like this is what the fans are saying. This is an honest criticism. We do need to do something different. We need to go to writing and be like, hey, what can we do different? Because I don't want to get cut. That's how I would see it. So, with that being said, I'll run it down real quick. We got on the main roster WWE. Or I'll start with NXT actually. From NXT, who was released, Cora Jade, Gigi Dolan, Eddie Thorpe, Riley Osborne, and Jakara Jackson. From the main roster, we had Braun Strowman, Shayna Baszler, Dakota Kai, Kaden Carter, and Katana Chance. Did I miss anybody? Maybe there was like an extra. I think that was it.
I think this is it that I've seen so far.
If we're missing anybody,
I don't
y'all
think
get
I've
the
seen.
point. These are pretty big names. Okay, so I'll just go
Yeah.
ahead and say, to me, the biggest one that stands out immediately, surprisingly, like I think maybe for everybody it would just be Braun Strowman. That's kind of obvious, but really for me, the one
Yes.
that stands out is Dakota Kai. I kind of felt like they were
Us
pushing
too.
her pretty decently hard for the last couple months. She was getting like a big push leading up into WrestleMania season, and then once WrestleMania
Yep.
got into full swing, the season, it felt like they just abandoned her completely, which I get, which is fine. But you're thinking, oh well, they're probably getting her ready to do something after, maybe Damage Control kind of like gets back into the swing of things. Nope, she's gone, and I find that shocking. I think people actually like her. I think she's some people's favorite women wrestler. Actually, she's pretty good in the ring, and she's got a look
Yep.
that people like. She's actually really good on the mic. I don't really know about this one. I'm wondering if maybe she was just asking for like a decent amount of money on her new contract, and they were like, yeah, we're not gonna meet that number. So sorry, I don't know. Because if I'm them and I'm wanting to spend money on people, I would have wanted to bring her back. I don't really know of what reason you wouldn't. I would rather see her on my screen than like a I don't know, Meechin or like Alba
I agree.
Fire. Alba Fire right now. Like I'd rather have Dakota Kai than them. Sorry, or Piper.
I
Like
agree.
people like that. Yeah. As far as the mid carders, so that's the biggest one to me. Who did you think was like maybe the biggest shock?
Uh, yes, those two are like the biggest shocks, just on the main roster.
Hmm.
Um, but I think Cora Jade, dude.
Yeah,
I thought Cora Jade was like a
people love Cora
one
Jade.
of the one of the pillars of NXT. It's like she's been there. I'm not gonna say since the beginning, but she's been there for a long time,
Yeah,
and she's like all we've known of Cora Jade is WWE. Like she's not someone that came from the outside and came in and worked in NXT just to try and
yeah.
move up. Like that's all we've known.
It.
And
Yeah.
she got hurt last year or whatever it was because of her ACL. And I think she has a problem or a history of getting injured. Um, but they even had her do these like crossovers with TNA and boost TNA talent and that type of stuff, right? So I've always seen her as like a staple in NXT, and I don't know, it was just weird. But yeah, Dakota Kai and Braun Strowman. I think the like Cora Jade, Dakota Kai, Gigi Dolan, they're the type of people that can go and now build their name for
That's
themselves.
true.
Maybe
That's
find out a
true.
different character, build up a different character, and I'd like to see them on AEW, the bigger
I
show, or
think.
TNA, whatever you wanna.
Um,
Go ahead.
but kind of just piggybacking off what you said, like yeah, they'll go and find themselves somewhere else. I'll also just throw in at the end someone who I also think I was kind of surprised was Jakara Jackson, just because it kind of seemed like her and Lash Legend were, based on what I know about NXT at least, that they were going to start getting their looks, like get
Yeah,
more
that
matches, maybe get a shot at the belts. Like I
well, that
think
was
they
going to
were
be
on the
my
main
next
roster.
point.
Yeah,
That was gonna be my next point is that these like especially Caden Carter and Katana Chance, Jakara Jackson after they just split up in NXT from what I was looking at, even Shayna Baszler, like even Dakota Kai, the WWE is getting rid of their women's tag division.
yeah, they're
They're
kind of
not
cleaning house right now, aren't they?
focusing on their women's tag division, and it makes total sense. I mean, if you want to focus on the mid card belts, like Liv Morgan could easily have a IC title run or a United States title run, something like that.
Yeah,
But right now she's stuck in the with the tag division. Like they don't have women's tag teams. Kaden Carter and Katana Chance were literally your only tag team,
yeah,
like with a tag team identity. Um,
like a
I don't
true
know.
identity.
It's
Yeah,
exactly. So yeah, this is just solely saying to me that you're getting rid of your women's tag team division because Gigi Dolan was a part of a tag team. Jakar Jackson was a part of a tag team. Caden Carter and Katana Chance obviously were a tag team. Dakota Kai was a part of Damage Control. Shayna Baszler was literally a part of a tag team with Zoe Stark
yeah,
for the past like year and a bit. So it's like all of these women that were in your tag division are now gone. You're either getting rid of those belts or you're putting them down in NXT and possibly doing something with them there.
yeah. I will say, out of everyone on here that I know of, I would say I really didn't like too much Shayna or Kaden Carter and Katana Chance, so I'm not too shocked to see them on this list, to be
No, me
honest.
neither.
I
Me
feel
neither.
bad. Shayna's the only one where I really don't like her. I really don't like her attitude, and she's the kind of person that gives me that feeling of like she thinks, oh, because I can beat you all up in real life, like you all should treat me a certain way and push me in a certain way. It's like, do you not understand what your job is? Like, do you know what you're doing here? You know what I mean? Sorry, I'm sorry, Shayna Baszler. I have nothing against you personally, but I do hope
Yeah, it's
I
just
hope the
yeah,
best
I
for
get
you.
it.
But yeah,
I
so
get
I
it.
think with that being said, we can kind of move in our next part where we're going to give you all our little list of who we think might actually be, again, might want to think about how things are going for themselves because they might be on the next list of cuts, and it does seem like WWE is primed to be doing a lot of cuts here over the next year. So,
Yeah.
it is. This is on, and again, I keep prefacing this because I don't want this to come off something that we're like making light of people losing their jobs. It is more of like a, who can you expect? I'm thinking more like, hey, especially for people that might watch who don't know much about wrestling, I wouldn't want y'all to come in and start watching and being like, oh, I like this person, and then they're gone, and you're like, what just happened? We want to give y'all that
Yep.
insight of what exactly is going on right now. So
Yep.
I was thinking if you want, we could actually go kind of back and forth, like I say one, then you say one, then I say one, then you say
Go
one,
ahead.
since we probably have a
Go
good
ahead.
bit of overlap, as I would assume. So I actually have with my first one. Let me pull up my list. So this one might actually come as a shock to you. You might be like, "What? Like, really?"
I have a
Because
lot of shocking ones. I have a lot of shocking ones. So go
so my
ahead.
first one is none other than Mr. Dragon Lee. I think Dragon Lee will be cut. I
I
think
don't have him, but I could see that.
I think it's unfortunate. I think they have not done much with him. They're he's on the screen. Don't get me wrong. He has matches. That's fine. But they're not doing anything. You know what I mean? They're not actually doing. He's just a guy. I think what's happening is that they're overflowing with like luchadors. You know what I mean? And I do think
I might plus one yours and just say
from yeah,
LWO in general.
it's yes. So the whole faction I think is going to start getting really
Besides obviously Rey
reconsidered
Mysterio, but yeah.
because what the WWE just did, I don't think we really covered it when it happened. We didn't really mention it. We mentioned it like once in the WrestleMania episode, but WWE made that deal with oh gosh, I'm blanking on what they're called, but the Triple A, and that basically means that they have more access to the best luchador and Latin wrestlers than they've ever had. So it's kind of all of a sudden the pool that they're trying to fill with guys like Dragon
Or you
Lee.
just send
And
your
it
Latin
sucks to talk
wrestlers
this way
down
about
to
it.
AAA.
Right, and it sucks to talk this way about it, but it is what it is, and that is always how it's been. Race and groups and all these things play a huge part in wrestling and the personas that are played on TV. So, Dragon Lee all of a sudden is like, oh, I don't really fill a box too well anymore. I see him getting cut, so that's my number one, and I wanted to start it off because I knew that would be a little spicy. So, who's your first one?
My first one's not as spicy, but they get spicier as they go. My first one is Zoe Stark.
Yeah, I didn't even
they
think of her.
just
That's a good one.
the only reason that they wouldn't is because I don't know how long her contract is, especially her just coming out of NXT 2 years ago. Could
That's
only
true.
be a 3-year contract, could be a 5-year contract, whatever it might be. I'm assuming a lot of these break down because of their contract is expiring. It's not just them; they have 2 years left on their deal and they get cut.
They just
I don't
get
think
cut,
that's
yeah.
how. I don't think that's how that works. I think it's more of the contract comes to a standstill. We're willing to pay you this. You don't want to get this, so we're just going to cut you. That's kind of how I think these contracts go. But yeah, Zoe Stark. I don't see, especially now that her partner's gone. She had the one feud with Rhea Ripley. Her promo abilities haven't really got much better. I actually say this. She lost Shayna Baszler, but she also lost what was her name? Sonya Deville earlier
You're
in
right.
the cuts.
She's the only one left.
So she's the only one, and it's just like, how much more time do you have?
It's like one of two things: either they really believe in her, or it's kind of like basically what you're saying. You get a chance because we kind of like you more than those other two, but you're probably on the chopping block too. Yeah. It's rough. It's rough.
But the WWE has a perfect chance. They have these mid-card titles. Put her in a feud for the mid-card title. All you got to do is that. She can go face Zelina Vega on SmackDown, or go face Lyra Valkyria, whoever the hell it is, on Raw. Just put these women in these title pictures. Have triple threat matches. Have fatal 4-way matches. It doesn't matter. Just make them worth something. That's all you got to do. But Zoe Stark is my first one. I won't get too much into it.
I'll just say real quick on Zoe, I think there's one way out. You change her character, you make her some type of bodyguard, and you put her with someone who's actually popular. I think that's the only way out. She has that look, she has that feel. She doesn't need to talk a lot if you do that. She is good in the ring and has ability to look menacing. But that's the only way. It'd be just like Raquel.
Yeah, that match with Rhea a couple years ago was pretty good.
It was pretty good.
It was pretty good.
It's not an in-ring ability. It's a ability to sell a character, which she cannot do. Sorry.
No,
sorry. Really. But yeah, okay. I'll take the next one. I have, and me and Tyler did agree. So, like always, just so y'all know, we do not know what each other have on our list. We don't talk about it prior. We have no idea. This is all fresh conversation. We did agree to do groups if we want to group together tag teams, that kind of thing, depending on how it kind of plays out in the way we describe it. So I'm going to say the War Raiders. That is who I have next. Now that sounds insane.
That's another big one. That's a good one.
That sounds insane. Oh, they just won they just had the belts. They just were at WrestleMania. I think that all is literally the reason I'm saying what I'm saying.
Braun Strowman just literally had two of the biggest feuds of the entire year.
Exactly.
And he got cut. So it's like
Katana and Kaden were two of the more tenured tag champs for a little bit there when we first started watching a couple years ago. Does not matter. The WWE, the belts don't mean anything. It's what you're doing, what impact you make. Do you go from this many viewers to this many viewers because we gave you the belt? Do you go from this many to this many because we gave you those extra TV time, that extra on TV appearance versus a dark match, whatever. War Raiders are literally taking every single opportunity and they're taking lemons and making lemon peels. Does that make sense? Like they're literally making it worse somehow. And it's like
Yeah,
I don't think you guys are understanding this. And I hate to say that because I don't not like them. I think they're solid, but it is maybe a little too much too fast, and it's proving way too much for the WWE, too much too fast for them. And I think they're seeing like, wow, nobody likes these guys. They weren't menacing enough as heels, and nobody believed it. We're trying to make them like this biker gang face faction. I still think it makes no sense to have made them face, but that's what
yeah,
they are. I actually really liked the idea. I might be one of the only ones because clearly nobody liked it, or else they would have stuck with it. I like the idea of them being henchmen to Damian Priest. Like, I thought that sounded cool, and that would have made me care about all three of them a little more. But now we don't get
yeah.
that. I think slowly but surely, over the next year, you will see the War Raiders less and less, and they will be cut. Sorry, guys.
I'll react off of yours. I think it would be Eric that gets cut.
One of
I
them,
don't
you're
think it would
saying.
be Ivar.
That's also fair. That's totally fair.
Because when Ivar, remember, I don't know if you remember, but when Eric did get hurt and Ivar was on that singles run,
Oh, yeah.
Ivar was getting
Yeah.
some pretty good hype. Like
That
he
was
was
fun.
having good one-on-one matches, dude.
Maybe that's what all it takes. Maybe a Viking character is what we need, but we don't need Viking Raiders. We don't need the tag. We don't need the full thing. And it
Yeah,
would suck, but you're right.
and it's I think that they're, and that's probably their biggest fault right now is not themselves. It's the division that they're in. They don't have a tag division.
It's
They
too
just don't.
It's not
It's
built.
it's
It's just not how it used to be. It's just
we've had
not.
the same feud with the Viking Raiders and the
In the
New
New
Day
Day.
as heel and faces, and then now we're doing it the same thing reversed. One's
Again.
the war. It's the same thing. It's just a different
I would much rather move up
covering
some
on it.
NXT tag teams like they've already been doing. I would much rather just see new
Yes.
faces.
Yes.
I would much
Yes.
rather see the family on Raw and bring the
Dude, that would be. I
where
would like
is
that. I would like that. I would like
where
that.
Christ Almighty is Wyatt Six? Unless there's more than one person hurt, I really don't understand what is happening right now.
No, I think they're just trying
Why?
to develop a story for them. But
Whatever. But that's my
I
second
will.
one. What is your next,
Yep.
sir?
My next one is, again, it's not as spicy.
That's all right.
The next four I have are pretty spicy. I have six, I think, total. So,
You're not doing it all at
um,
once. You're just saying. I see what you're saying. Go
no,
ahead.
no, no,
Go
yeah,
ahead.
yeah,
I
yeah.
was like, what six
Um,
man? Are you the Judgment Day is gone? What? Like,
no, no, no. Candice LeRae is my next one.
okay. No. That's. I like. You're saying people that I didn't even think about, but that makes total sense. Like, yeah. Sorry, Candace.
Yeah, I think Candice is the next one, unfortunately, because you had that chance with Nia and Tiffany in the main card.
Yeah.
Again, I'm not saying it that I like Candice LeRae how she wrestles. I really do. It's just the same type of thing. She just doesn't really have a character. She's the poison pixie or whatever she is. Like she doesn't have
It's
a
weird.
she doesn't have a character. There's just nothing. There's no substance behind anything that she has or she does. She is the perfect example, Daniel. She is the Giovanni Vinci of that three-way thing. Like she really is.
No,
She
you're
really
totally
is.
right. You're totally right. I'm sorry.
She
But
talks.
yeah.
She talks here and
She
there.
can talk, yeah, but
But it's just they're not giving her anything. And she is again. I think she can talk. I think she has a good like promo ability. She is a perfect example of someone who can go to an AEW and have
yeah, I would
a
agree
good
with that. TNA would be perfect.
a TNA. She could have a good resurgence
Yeah.
of her career.
She
And go
she
that
is
way.
not
So
someone that like shouldn't be in wrestling. I'm right there with you. I actually
yeah,
do like her act, but I'm right there with you that yeah, people, the more childish like WWE audience just really did not vibe with her like lack of presentation. It's just she's just kind of
yeah,
Candice LeRae, like she's just there.
yep,
They really tried it with her in indie, and she if anything, it's funny, she was much better being the only solid wrestler in her and Indies tag team when they were giving them all those looks like last year and before,
yep,
and it was like,
yep.
oh well, she's getting mad at how bad Indy is, and so she's just like annoying heel partner. That was actually a pretty compelling story as they were telling it for a couple weeks there, but whatever.
But yeah,
Yeah,
that's
cool.
my next one. So if you want to go to your next one,
Yeah, so this is where I'm thinking maybe I'm gonna take one off your list, group wise. So I have another group. I really didn't want to put this because I think this will qualify as one where maybe one of these people actually does get to stay. Not everybody leaves, but I do have the Alpha Academy. I do think,
I was tempted. I was
yeah,
tempted to put them down. I really
it's
was. I honestly really was. It's unfortunate, but I was
it
definitely tempted.
is, but it's feeling like they're floundering a little on what to do with them. The thing with Chad, all that is it's done. They if anything, that's all they do is serve as like the reminder of what Chad kind of used to represent, but now he
You're so
doesn't.
right.
That's kind of
You're
it though.
so
They're
right.
trying to like feel it out with the crowd. So the reason the someone might go, well, they just had a promo where Maxine came out and they did a think about what they were. Think about what they represented in that entire thing. They were a throwaway piece in a larger thing for Malachi to come back,
No, for Rusev, Rusev,
or
Rusev, Rusev.
Rusev to come back, who by the way has done nothing yet. He's just cut a little promo and was like, "I'm back."
Yeah, I was like, yeah,
I
that's
didn't even
just
put that in the show notes for the SmackDown part because it was such an instinct that he's just like, "Don't forget about me." It's like, oh, so you don't have a feud actually. You came back and you actually aren't feuding. That tells me they
yeah,
really don't care about the Alpha Academy at all. They're like,
yeah,
yeah, guys, sorry, but when I say someone could stay, I could see one of either or both. Maybe it's just Tozawa and I don't want to be mean, but I do kind of feel like the direction would be getting rid of all of them. I kind of feel like Otis's time here has come to an end, unfortunately, which
dude, he
kills
just
me
it's so
because
unfortunate because he gets so many pops. Like he really
he has so
does.
many
He's just
moments,
people
but
love him.
there's something with him. I don't know what, obviously. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's like a work ethic or a relationship that went bad or he's actually in the backstage. Maybe he's like a super nervous wreck or something, so he has trouble doing more than what he does, but like they don't want to give him that push. They just don't.
Yeah,
And
I
then
don't
that
know.
leaves Maxine, who again, she's the one where it's like they made it seem like her and Ivy Nile were going to be together. They just didn't do that because Ivy Nile is not heel, not a part of it. Then they do. Oh, she's going to be with who was it? Not Beth Phoenix. I was thinking Beth Phoenix, but it was
Natalia,
Natalia.
Natalia.
That just didn't work out. They lost.
I
That
can
was
see them. I can see them making her a not an announcer, but like what Kathy Kelly is, and those type. Like I
that would
can
be
see her being like one of
yeah. I don't think
those.
they want to get rid of the face and personality that is Maxine Dupree, and I think Maxine
No, I don't think
shows
so either. I
heart
think,
more than anything.
and she has good promo abilities. She has
Oh
really good
yeah,
promo abilities.
that's what she's
So
been getting good at. If anything, yeah, this might be a situation where we dump Otis and Tozawa, and we kind of do a Maxine, basically Barbie. Also, if anybody actually represents Barbie, it is not Tiffany. I'm sorry,
yeah,
but
that's
it
her.
is
That's her.
Maxine.
Yeah.
That is a real life Barbie doll, y'all. Like that's crazy how much she looks like Barbie. But anyways, that's my third one. We can go on to your next one.
Yep. My next one. This is where it starts to get a little spicy. My
Okay,
next
I'm
one is
ready.
Shinsuke Nakamura.
Oh no, not
Shinsuke
Shinsuke.
Nakamura.
Pour one
It
out for
sucks,
Shin.
dude. It sucks. We love Shinsuke over
We
here,
do.
but I think it's just writing on the wall, right? I think Shinsuke's
The time has
older.
come.
Time is time just kind of catches up to you. Shinsuke's older. He never really developed any sorts of promo ability. He had his chance at a character change.
Didn't
Didn't
really
really,
work.
and it's
It
unfortunate
sucks.
because I think it's just up to poor booking. I think it really is just straight poor booking. Um, the only thing I would say that he would stay with the roster, with the company, I should say, would to be as like he is a trainer of talent that comes uh, from other organizations, like maybe New Japan or
I
something
see what
like
you're
that,
saying.
and he stays there as that. But I
Yeah.
don't think we're gonna really see much more of Shinsuke Nakamura. If so, he gets cut, moves back to New Japan, and has a legendary last couple years in New Japan as he goes on to
I'll
retirement.
actually double down on that prediction. I think really what they wanted more than anything was to have signed Okada back when that was kind of the discussion
Yeah.
before AEW got him. I think they would have liked to sign Okada, have Shinsuke be the guy that kind of ropes him in and gets him in with a feud. It's
Yep.
it's something that American audiences have never gotten to see, but a Shinsuke
Yep.
Okada match is a banger. And then you get rid of Shinsuke anyways. I think Shinsuke actually would have already been gone, possibly a part of these cuts, if it was not for what you just said. I think they need that Japanese influence. It can't just be Io. Like it just simply can't. You have to have a guy. And
Yeah.
obviously, given that they're probably going to get rid of Tozawa and he's not really much of an act to begin with, you do need someone. So Shinsuke might get to stay around for that and that alone. The WWE does
Yeah.
care about their representation,
Yep.
especially nationality wise. So I
Yep.
don't see them getting rid of him. until that. But I'm actually I'll just say it because I guess I won't go ahead and do it. But I have him on my list as well. That is down the list
Okay,
somewhere. So
got it.
I've
Nice.
got him with. So I like the spiciness. But
Yep.
yeah. Okay. Cool. Well, then I'll go on. I promise. I swear we're not racist, y'all. But my next person to get cut is Meechin. I'm not. We're not attacking people based on race here. I promise, man. It just
I was
happens.
unfortunately debating her as well. I really was.
Yeah, I think in the same exact way of how I mentioned the War Raiders for the same exact reason. Meechin has been given a lot of time, a lot of space, a lot of opportunities. Brought her up from NXT away from that competition where she was kind of like the vet that was training with them, but in reality, they were putting her down there to try to revamp her act. Someone in WWE front office really likes Meechin, and that's obvious at this point. They're like really trying hard to get us to care about her, and like really,
Yeah.
really, like really trying hard. She does have a certain energy. She does have a certain like hustle, I guess is what I would say. She tries, she puts in the effort, but
Yeah.
she has that like hokiness to her character that a lot of people do as well, where it's like I just don't care. It feels very fake. It
Yeah.
feels very forced, and it's unfortunate. They're actually putting her with BFAB, which this is why I say this. I think this is the last effort for Meechin. I hope it's not the last effort for BFAB because I like BFAB more. But I think if this little tag team idea, Meechin, BFAB, doesn't work out, yeah, Meechin's out of here. I think Meechin's gone.
Yeah. I agree. Okay. Yeah. My next one is, I feel like it's another little spicy one, is New Catch Republic and Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate.
Oh shit! I'll just say I have Pete Dunne. I don't have Tyler Bate. I didn't even think about just putting the two together, but no, I'll agree with both. How about that? That's a good one.
Yeah. I have both of them. Because apparently Tyler Bates like always hurt. Pete Dunne, just at least for me, he doesn't do it for me. I know some people like him, some people I don't know. They've it's kind of been an unfortunate situation where like yes, they had their little run. Tyler Bate got hurt, so Pete Dunne got put on the back burners. Then they tried to have like these small like one-on-one feuds, and it just
Nothing
didn't pan
stuck.
out.
I forget all of that. Like
Um,
I remember it now that you're saying it, but I forget it in general. It was very
It's
forgettable.
yeah, it's brutal. It's brutal. It was because I'm not. It was with our truth, right? He's like, I'm not Butch. I'm Pete Dunne.
It
So
was
stop
silly.
calling me that.
That might
If
be
that's
one of the
all you have,
silliest characters. In retrospect, now that like let's think about it really. The character is, well, I'm Pete Dunne, and I'm not my old character. You better not call me my old character. And everyone's like, but you're Butch. And then he's pissed.
yeah,
That's the character, bruh. You can't be real. You can't be serious.
yeah.
That's silly as fuck. Like, sorry, not to take your steam here, but
No, no, I agree. It's like that's why he's on my list. That's why they're both on my list. You know, they put Pete Dunne with Sheamus for the I don't even remember the Brute Brawlers or the Brawling Brutes or whatever they were.
yeah,
That didn't work out with Ridge Holland. Ridge Holland at least went down to NXT and kind of reinvented himself a little
he
bit.
did. He did.
Um, but Pete Dunne stuck up there. You know, he's not the most appealing character. He doesn't.
He needs
I
like
don't want to call you. I don't want to call you out, but it's just like you have a singlet on.
the
You look
singlet
like
is so unappealing, man. That might be the
it's
biggest problem
yeah,
with him, dude. He
yeah.
looks like a doofus. Like he looks like a nerd. He looks like a geek.
He's weird. No offense to Pete Dunne. If I'm sure you're a fantastic person in real life.
Pete, if you're
Um,
hearing this, if you don't want to get fired by WWE, I suggest you go to the writing room and ask them as quick as possible to take you out of that stupid outfit. Do something cooler. You should walk out to the ring for the first time in your damn career in a suit and see what happens. See how many
yeah,
people start buying your merch or start tweeting about you at the very least. If you
yeah,
look official and start to spit some real facts and don't talk to us about your stupid name, we don't care. It's literally the stupidest shit in the world. He probably knows that, which is what sucks. He
yeah.
probably knows that. You know what I mean? But somebody wrote that for him, and somebody made him do that for a couple months, and that's horrible.
Yep, yep. So yeah, that's my fourth one. Like I have two more. I don't know how much you have. I know that
So
you had
given that
two of
you,
mine.
I'll say I have one more to go, and then you can just say or two, and we can just talk about it.
Okay,
So
let's
my
do it.
last one, this might be stupid because maybe he's already been cut, but he was on the roster when I pulled it up on the website earlier. So I'm putting Omos. I don't know how he hasn't already been caught. I don't know what's going on with him. Like
Yeah, you're so right.
Yeah,
You're so
I
right.
literally would have assumed he was already cut. So the fact that he wasn't was like I was like I have to put him here. I have to put him here. He's
They
done.
they put him in New Japan or OAH or something,
That's right.
whatever
So
the
he's
hell it
basically
was.
doing like a soccer style loan right now, which is I don't hate
Yeah,
that
yeah, actually,
idea.
yeah.
I don't hate that
Actually, yes.
idea, but I'm like it basically is like he is already not officially part of the WWE. So I guess they're
Yeah.
just sitting on his contract, but that has to be the case that they're just going to actually officially release him.
Yeah.
They can make me eat my words and make him show up, and I'm not going to be mad. Just to be clear, I like Omos, but
I
it's
like
like
Omos. I like him a lot.
it's a fun thing. Great Khali, giant Andre the
I
Giant.
think it's just unfortunate right now because he doesn't have his mouthpiece.
MVP,
MVP
yeah.
was his mouthpiece, so we just got to find that. We got to find his mouthpiece.
Get him
Um,
something.
if it was Carmelo Hayes in Omos, that'd be cool.
That would be
Whatever, but
insane.
that would be pretty cool. But yeah, I'll name off my next two. This one is just because I mean we just haven't seen her. Her name is Kiana James. Do you remember
I
Kiana
no,
James,
I
Daniel?
actually almost picked her as well. The only reason I didn't is because I think we did agree to not really do NXT on this, but or I said I wasn't going to pick NXT, and
Yeah.
I assume that she's NXT right now. That's the only reason I didn't pick her. So I agree
Well,
with you. Trust me.
I assume based off of the draft last year, she was the first
No,
overall pick for Raw.
that's why I
That's
see
why
why
she's
you
on the
picked
main
her.
roster.
Trust me. That's why this makes so much sense because it's like, oh my god. I don't even know what to say. This is the weird thing about wrestling. I didn't think
We
anything
don't
she
know what to
did
say
was
because we haven't seen her. We
we
just
barely
don't
seen
know
her
what
at
she did.
all. There must have been like a promo that she
No, she got hurt. She got hurt.
Oh,
She got
that's
hurt, from what I
right.
remember.
That's right. And
She
I
got
guess they
hurt,
just
but
never brought her
they
back to the
just
fold. Maybe she fell out of shape a little, and we don't see that on the screen, but maybe her work ethic really truly took kind of like a tumble. You never
they
know.
could have.
But
We
they
just
made
never
her the
know.
number one pick, and Carmelo proved them right when they did that.
Yes.
She almost destroyed the entire idea of the draft by failing in that way. Like, come on,
Unfortunately,
dude.
yes. Unfortunately, yes.
And I'll just
And
say,
my
I
next
hope.
one.
I'll
Go
just say
ahead. Go
real quick.
ahead. Go
I hope
ahead.
going forward they do not do that stupid crap where the number one draft pick is someone that's young, but then going forward they just start picking all the actual top superstars. It's like that doesn't make any sense. That's so stupid.
Yeah.
Like
No.
it's a stupid idea.
Yeah.
You either stick with that consistently throughout, or you start from the top with the top people and go to the bottom and make it a surprise for us later on for the NXT.
Yeah.
I just want
I
to say
just
that
wish they would do the draft the old way and make it more random instead of them
that
coming
used to
out
be
with the
fun.
draft card, a draft slip. Because it's like they had a match, right?
Yeah.
A SmackDown superstar and a Raw superstar had a match.
Yes.
If whoever won, the
They would get to
SmackDown star
pull.
won, let's say, they would get a pick. They would
Yeah.
get a pick to bring to their brand. So it's like you're fighting for something. You're fighting for your brand.
Yes. And do you
So
remember like the classic clips that came from those shows were awesome
yeah,
for those few
yeah.
years they
It's
did it
like I
that way.
remember specifically. I think it was John Cena and Rey Mysterio. I think,
Hmm.
and John Cena, Rey Mysterio. John Cena won. The thing goes,
Yeah.
and then Rey Mysterio's face pops up, and they're like, "Oh, let's go! We're on the
Yeah,
same
yeah, yeah,
brand
yeah.
now."
Because
Like
they were
that
friends.
type
They
of
were both
stuff.
faces. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And if you
exactly.
remember, there's two. I'll call it out since we're just on the topic. Why not? There's two things I remember specifically. One is the Paul Heyman infamous, where he's like, no, I don't want to do. I want to do over. Like, I don't want you to do this pick or whatever, because it was the other. I think it was Eric Bischoff, who did the pick for him. And he's like, no, you picked it. You picked it. You're gonna do that. And so Paul Heyman looks and he's like, are you sure you want me to say this? And he's like, yes, you son of a bitch. I do want you to read it. Who is it? And he's like, the game Triple H. And that was when Triple
Yeah.
H was really coming up, like big coming up. And it was like, what? Like, I cannot believe. Oh, I got a cough.
It was too much. It was too
It
much.
was too
for
much.
you.
I tried to announce it like Heyman. Heyman went crazy when he did it. But that was one. The next one that I remember, only because I'm a huge Jeff Hardy fan, is Jeff Hardy gets drafted over to, I want to say SmackDown. And he got drafted to SmackDown. Or no. It was Matt Hardy gets drafted over to Jeff Hardy's brand. And we're like, yes, the Hardy Bros are back. Like, I can't believe it, dude. Like they're finally back together. We get to see good old fashioned Hardy Bros because they were both doing their singles thing.
Yeah.
And then, like, the very next pick is Jeff Hardy getting picked to the other brand. It was like,
Yes, dude.
that's so
the
troll.
old crap
That's
was
so
so
troll. Oh my
Stuff was
god.
so good. It's just like the
It was
randomness.
they
You
used to
don't know
care.
what's gonna happen. Yes, because it was a true brand split, and the brands hated each other. They didn't want to intervene
Yeah.
or they just didn't want to intertwine at all.
Yeah.
Like it was
Now it's
truly
like
SmackDown versus Raw. It's just like now they both
true,
come out.
true.
They both come out. Adam Pearce and Nick Aldis comes out. I pick Carmelo Hayes. I pick Braun
It's
Breaker. That's a
dumb.
good pick,
It's
Adam.
an
That's a good
actual
pick.
draft. Like that's a little. You're not
Yeah, I don't
drafting
like it. I don't
from
like
the
it,
other
man. I don't
roster.
like it.
It's also I don't know. I would also say now
I
it's
like
like
the draft as a concept because yes,
oh they
it
should keep
does.
it. They should keep it.
It does like it solidifies brand splits. I don't like when I can have Randy Orton come over on
Like
SmackDown at
all
any
the time.
time
It's so stupid.
or that. Yeah, I just don't
It's
like it.
better
I
when
don't
they
like it.
keep it all contained. It makes each. I don't know how to explain this because it would be easier to explain the all if we were back in 2006, 7, and 8. But it's like, okay,
Yes.
when they kept the brand split true and actually cared, everything actually mattered. The show had to be consistent of the guys actually on SmackDown, so you had to actually think about and do things with SmackDown superstars. But not just that.
Yep.
If a Raw guy happened to come over that was especially a big name, which is probably why they'd come over, it was like a big deal, like a really big deal,
Yes.
like that they would even do that.
Yes.
Now what you have
I
more
remember like
is
Batista getting drafted and everybody going
was
crazy. It's
nuts.
like, oh my god, we got Batista.
Exactly, and it makes the year to year difference in the shows more meaningful. The fact that maybe you wouldn't have had to used to have Cena and Rey Mysterio on the same brand, but then the fact that they will be on the same brand is a big deal because you're like, yeah, now I could maybe see them in a promo or match together. What you have now is like a giant soup of the upper card, and they all just exist every day, like Monday, Tuesday, Friday, every pay per view. There's everything is just one thing. Then the rest of the everybody else actually is on Monday Night Raw and Friday Night SmackDown. So to me,
Yeah.
what it does to me as a fan is it breaks my immersion. It makes me feel like everything leading up to the main event is Monday Night Raw. And then whatever this main event shit is, might as well be on SmackDown, might as well be on Raw next week, might as well be on SmackDown next week. It doesn't matter. It literally doesn't matter.
Yeah.
They might bring all those people onto SmackDown later that week and do the same thing, the same promo, and continue it. It does. They do not care. And so if they aren't gonna care themselves and write it in a certain way, then I'm not gonna care. You know what I mean? Like then that's the only thing I feel like I can do. But
Yeah.
that's a big rant on the draft randomly.
Yeah, on the draft.
I know you have one more pick for who might get cut.
My last pick, and I think it's the spiciest of them all.
Okay.
And it does hurt for me to say it, but I think it's Finn Balor.
Ooh, that's the spiciest. Whoa.
I think it's Finn Balor.
But it actually makes perfect sense now that you're saying it out loud, and I'm thinking about it.
It's
The wheels
kind
are
of
turning.
exactly. That's kind of why I threw him in there at the end. I was like, it's got to be. Like
So
I
you're-
thought about him at first, but I was like, it's just
Like next big AEW signing probably is what we're talking about here.
yes,
yeah,
yes,
yeah.
yes.
More than likely, or New
Um,
Japan possibly, but no, probably AEW.
Yeah, something like that, right?
We're talking about someone from the Bullet Club now.
I just think I love Finn Balor. I love what he's doing. I like how he wrestles. I think his promo ability isn't the best, but it is good. I just
No, I like it.
the WWE has given him so much, and
It's just weird.
the Finn Balor fan, like this is the perfect example of like a Dakota Kai getting cut. He has so many fans, like diehard fans. Like it's like, oh, you're a Finn Balor fan. Like you must hate your life because he just never wins.
Nothing happens.
He always loses. It's just like these people have like they're diehard fans for Finn Balor. And he just keeps getting the short end of the stick. Yes, he's in these feuds. Yes, but he's just this guy. He's kind of like the Miz. He's this guy to kind of put over talent, and it's Finn Balor's been at the short end of the stick before.
Yeah.
After he got injured and he had to get moved back down to NXT, and he succeeded in NXT, and then came back with the demon personality. They got rid of that because he lost to Edge with the demon personality. And then now we're just he lost to Seth Rollins, and he just loses. That's why he has the nickname Finn Balor. And it might not even be a case of Finn getting cut by the WWE, but Finn pulling a ricochet and just saying like, I I want something better. I want something better. I want to.
He wants to be a
I need
champ.
something better. Exactly. Exactly. Um, and
I
just
like it.
going over to AEW. That's something that's yeah. I think Finn Balor again. Love him. I like what he does. I like who he is. But
No, I
it's
agree.
just it's
I think that
a
AEW
dog eat dog
crowd,
world.
the people that are already over there, would be so much better for him to fit into. He already knows people. That's why I brought up the Bullet Club thing.
Yep. Yep.
It would be really really good for him, and I actually think they could just go. They could just go. If I'm AEW, go sign Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson too. Just start getting the band back together. Even though they're all older, who
Yep.
cares? You got money to do it. WWE doesn't want them. That's what I would do if I was them. Do that, and then you actually kind of awkwardly, oh well, we don't have one guy, but he wants to be in WWE, and that's Cody. So it's like, you get everybody else. That I think that'd be cool. Yeah, no, I like that one. I was not thinking that at all. As soon as you said the name, I was like, oh yeah, actually, that does feel like that is the case because they're trying to get something to work, and it's just not right. So
Yeah.
yeah, but that was the end of your list, right? Because that's all I
That's
got.
it. That's it. That's
All
it.
right.
I'm done.
Well, look, y'all. This was a good episode. This one ended up being longer than I think both of us assumed, but I think we got some good information and tidbits in there. I would say, tune in Tuesday, where our next episode is going to be recorded. We're recording this. We're not live streaming this one right now, but we will be live streaming on Tuesday for that episode. So that'll
Yes.
be going over Monday Night Raw as well as going over our predictions for Backlash.
Predictions.
So unless you got anything
Nope.
else, we can call it there.